Oh my goodness gracious, y'all. Jack is trying not to bark. Welcome in, everybody. Yeah, all of my comments were disappearing because that's called moderation, apparently. I have more alts, but I didn't want to put the effort in to keep going in. So I have, am I still muted? Hello? Hello? Press the 1 if you can hear me. Okay. You were timed out too? Hey, Florbam and Brian. Welcome in. Hi, Carol H. Awesome. Glad you guys can hear me. I would have not said anything except for my name was brought up. Normally, I just sit in the back and listen to everything and make my own observations and thoughts. And I try to stay neutral on a lot of the bullshit. Well, I have somebody that wants to address a few things. And I am going to welcome Ty up to my platform and let him address a few things that are going on. So welcome in, everybody. I hope, because Jim was over there. So let me get him in. Welcome, Ty.
Hi, Miss T. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me on tonight.
My pleasure. You know, anything you need.
So, I guess we're not going to really talk about Dylan Rounds tonight. What we're going to talk about is some of the things that I've seen on the other channels, especially concerning me. And to tell you the truth, Miss T, I think it's hilarious that people would even follow that garbage. And we'll just start with this. Do you allow me to name other creators on your channel?
If you want to do initials, well, Just keep it with initials for now.
Okay. So on SP's show today,
Yeah.
it said it was supposed to be about Dylan Rounds, and it was when I tuned into it, most of it was about me. And then when a certain other creator, JT, got on SP's channel, they started after him. So none of it was really about Dylan Rounds at all. It was all about a bunch of drama.
Yeah, I
And
didn't
this
hear
is,
anything about Dylan Rounds. And it
yeah,
was very slight when Kurt was on.
yeah. And here's things that people have to really remember. How many people did SP and KW point their finger at until this thing came out, James Brenner? And even today on that channel, JT asked KW, you think James Brenner did this? And this was the answer. I think he knows a little bit more than he's saying.
I
And
heard that.
KW, yeah, I'm just going to say, Kurt, he's not the only one that knows a little bit more than he's saying, huh? The garbage that those people put people through, I mean, not 3 days ago, the day before the charges came out and why and what evidence basically they had, they were blaming Louisa and Dale. And Louisa and Dale are good. Here, unlike you, Kurt, Louisa holds a job, and so does Dale. Dale's a retired veteran, and he ranches for himself, and he does more than Kurt does. Kurt doesn't hold a job. They pointed their fingers at all sorts of people, including Kurt's niece, and oh, she's this and she's that. Well, I got news for you, Kurt. She holds a job, unlike you, and it's just astonishing the things that they do, and the trailer park just follows them. And when I say the trailer park, that's SP's following. Here he did this all summer long, pointed his finger at me, at Chase, at Robert, at Ed Harshberger, at Rich Ranchers in Grouse Creek, at Tom Hardy, at the Tweakers in Montello, at Candace Cooley, at Justin Rounds, and the list goes on. And then here comes these charges, and these people are shown why and what kind of evidence they have. And this is probably the most damning evidence, is a video on the phone that came out of the pond of James Brenner cleaning, and I don't know what kind of weapon because it didn't say, it just said a gun. And he has blood on his shirt and blood on his arms, and they've got the shirt for evidence, the same one that's in the video, and it has Dylan's blood on it. So I don't know how much more damning you can get than that. And the phone forensic evidence shows that the phones were together for long periods of time that day. And he lied about that. He said, I have not seen Dylan for a month. I think that was his answer. And these people are still following him.
And they
he knows what
retrieved
he's
his
talking
shirt,
about.
right?
Yeah, and the people that are on this channel, on SP's channel, how can you even take that fruitcake seriously? After all the people he pointed, and then you see this evidence come out, and he says, oh, it's a government psyop, and they go, oh, okay. This is how I feel, Mrs. G. How, I'll try not to use the language, how stupid are people
you're
these
fine
days?
if you want to.
How goddamn dumb do you have to be before you realize that Brenner did this?
Yep.
And
well, they have multiple fingers and physical evidence towards him without the body, even, especially with that video and the shirt, seeing him clean himself. It's just,
yes, ma'am. And
they just,
another thing I'd like to address that they were doing on that channel was knocking law enforcement. And I'm going to tell you this, Miss T, I was there when the phone was found. It was not found by the FBI. It was found by Box Elders law enforcement. There was a little guy there that they kind of called their geek. They said, we got better geeks than they do. That's what one of the cops said. And the guy explained to me, he said, we had triangulated from the towers along the Wasatch Front, these towers here along Lucin, and we had it within about 78 feet. And they checked all that, they were a little bit off. And they said, well, the most common place is probably the pond. And they started searching the pond, and that's where they found it. And they're the ones that found it, not the FBI. certain people were told things to keep hush hush, and somehow people found out about it. And one of them was the phone. Candace Cooley blurted that out. But here we have people like Salty and Kurt, and Salty knew that that phone came out of the pond. Excuse me, SP knew that that phone came out of the pond and made every excuse in the book when I confronted him on Jim's channel about how he knew that phone came out. First, he said law enforcement told me, and I said, try again. I was there. They warned everybody, if you open your mouth, you're going to get in trouble. Basically, be thrown in jail for interfering with the investigation. And I didn't say a damn word. So here Salty knows about it. And the only way he could have found out about that was through Kurt. And the only way Kurt can find out about it is through the person or people that put it there, either directly or indirectly. They tried to say, oh, Don Hatley told me. The cops never would have said a damn word to Don Hatley about that phone, especially when they look at the father and tell him, you can't tell Candace a word. And I know what happened with the cops. They got to the point, and I hate to say this, they got to the point with the people involved in this where they just quit telling what the evidence was because they didn't want it spread out.
Well, and it would
And
also, it could ruin the integrity of the case and convicting the actual person who is guilty too, if they did that.
Correct. And Miss T, I never said a word about that phone until it came out. Jim tried to pry it out of me hundreds of times, different ways, different questions, all stuff like that. And I never said a word about that phone until after Salty said, well, it was found in the pond. And like I said, that this is all just my opinion. I don't have any proof of where they found out about it, but use your common sense. If the cops look at the family and everybody there and say, you better not say a word or else, common sense, right? And there's other creators like Lance saying I'm stalking him. I haven't seen him for months. Have I gone on channels and on some of his comments to call out lies and stuff? Here's how I feel, Miss T. The crime channels out there, and JT's not included with this because he is not a crime channel, but the crime channels out there that beg for money and say, oh, it's in the name of so-and-so, and yeah, all for them. They are so full of shit, it runs out their ears. It's all about the money. It's not for the deceased person. And they beg for money on the backs of dead people. And I think it's disgusting.
And that drives me insane because I just got monetized and I've had my channel well over a year. And even I go boots on the ground and I will actually go and get flyers made. And for anything that happens on cases I work locally or even far away that I am not even putting on here.
Right.
And
And in all fairness, Miss T, I'm going to tell the truth about this. When Lance and I first started, it was a legitimate search. I would get out there early. He would get up early. We would be out at Lucin before the sun came up, and we would search our asses off for 7-8 hours till we got so hot we couldn't do it anymore.
that's dedication.
And when the money started rolling in, yeah, when the money
and that's
started
more
rolling
than
in,
anybody sitting behind the computer doing jack shit.
right. And I want you to know this. At first, it was a legitimate search, but when the money started rolling in, it changed. And I was how can I put this? I was kind of naive to what goes on YouTube. And I think a lot of people can attest to that. And I got baptized by fire. But when I realized the money thing was more important than the search thing, I got out of it. And when I show up at that time in the morning and he didn't want to go or said, come this day, or we don't have enough money to go this week or whatever, or only so many times this week, I wasn't going to make that 55-mile drive to go out there and search for 45 minutes with a guy wearing a pair of flip-flops doing a nature walk. And that's what I saw, and that's why I got out of it. And the people that are following that, they point their fingers at me trying to act like I misbehave or abuse my dogs. My dog's 10 years old. She's in beautiful shape. I take really good care of her. She doesn't sleep outside, unlike his.
That drove me
people
nuts.
have to realize, yeah, there was other, like the other channel he had, and I'm not going to name it, but it had to do with the ranch. And all summer long, it'd show these dogs jumping up and down on short chains with no shade. And to give somebody a cadaver dog or to let them buy one like that, you know, if someone said, Ty, you can have a cadaver dog, but you got to give up Harper and Pebbles, I'd say, fuck you. I'm not giving my dogs up for anything. I love them. They're like my kids, unlike other people. So if you've rehomed how many dogs and then you expect to have a cadaver dog, people wake up.
They don't even adopt out to people that rehome X amount of dogs.
Well, I seriously doubt if any of the people that have been watching this that own cadaver dogs, they probably agree with that. There's no way they'd sell him one. No. I wouldn't. And if need be, I could have people from Montello call in that have seen that. And people just don't, how can I put this? They don't have a memory. Earlier this summer, Lance complained about a neighbor that had shot some of his dogs and one of his livestock. And the reason that happened, you guys, and people don't realize this, is you have to keep your animals contained. You have to feed them. You have to take care of them.
It's and like a baby. It's your responsibility.
Right. And when your sheep wanders over to the lady's house and her dog's going nuts and she's tired of it, yeah, she's going to shoot your animal. If it's digging in her potted garden, yeah, they're going to do that. Yep. And people need to wake up. Why do you think that happened? It's just common sense. And another thing he said, and people have to remember this, he said, I don't abuse dogs. I feed wild dogs. I got news for you guys. The wild dogs he's feeding are his goddamn dogs that he's turned loose or have escaped and didn't want to come back. They need to wake up. And
he's really treating them as stray cats.
Yeah. And as far as Salty goes, or SP, you guys wake up. How many people did he point his finger at? And if you guys think that James Brenner didn't do this, I don't know what to tell you. I guess you're smarter than all the cops that were investigating it, the FBI agent, their forensic lab, and all these people that have had college educations and have been trained to do this by the best of the best. You're smarter than they are. So trailer park, wake the fuck up and quit following that idiot.
Yep. And once they speak up, now the only thing that I would definitely question was if there was any accomplice or anybody in line with him, or do you think he did it 100% alone?
I don't know. The cops seem to think so, and I don't know. I know Kurt has said some things that really make me suspect, and I've gone over that 100 times. I've said this thing 100 times. Everyone knows the reasons, everything from, yeah. I mean, you can go back. I've listed those reasons many times.
And you know who my eyes are on. So I just.
Yeah. And you know, it very well could, you guys, it very well could be that Brenner did this all by himself. That's probably the most logical answer. But do some people know something, or was he coerced or given advice, or did he tell anybody after the fact? I think that remains to be seen. I don't know. And the gay thing, I want everyone to know this. I was by far way last in line of the people that told JT that Kurt was gay. And I'm not going to retract that. I have watched him and his son throw down behind the saddle sore bar over that subject right there, and over the money he took and all that. I was witness to that. And it's exactly what he told Jim is exactly what he told me. I took that because that motherfucker never paid my mom a damn dime of child support, and he sends this money overseas to these dumb bitches in the Philippines. That was the language he used, and he was pissed. And you notice Kurt didn't turn him in. And you want me to know why Kurt didn't turn him in? His ass goes up to these rivers in Idaho in the summertime. Yeah, Kurt, you want to call me a meth dealer? These are the truth that's going to come out. You go up into the rivers in Idaho in the summer, so this is going to come to an end, and you mine gold illegally with a floating sluice box and a dredge. I know all about it. That's where the gold came from, and I know all about it because he's told me he's done it. I've seen him up there doing it. I've been up in northern Idaho before and witnessed him doing it.
So
and his son was the one that told me.
I've heard you bring that up before. And do you think the cold could have been a possible motive if it was involvement of them? I never thought
This
about
was
that
done,
until just now.
Miss T, this was done years ago, way before Dylan ever came on the scene. This was done like 10 years ago.
So he's not doing it anymore, but he was.
As far as last summer, I don't know. I don't think he went anywhere last summer. So, but yes, in prior summers, he did that quite a bit.
That's
And do
why I'm
I
wondering
care?
if this could have been
Do
any
you want
type
me to
of
know
a
the truth?
motive.
I don't really care if he does that. I don't give a shit. But when somebody sits there, points their finger at me and calls me a liar and a meth dealer, it's all bullshit. And people out there that know me, they know I don't do that stuff. There's been a lady out there called, she goes by Mini Me, and she first said that I sold meth to her son or grandson. And then she said her daughter or something like that. She's changed the story so many times and lies so many times, they just don't get it. And that's all from that trailer park over there at SP's. And here's some of the things that have happened since he accused me of doing that sort of stuff. I've had calls on my phone, because my phone number is pretty much public knowledge. People threatening to kill me because they say, people like you killed my son when he overdosed. Shit like that. That's what it leads to. And when that stupid fucker gets somebody killed from accusing people that didn't have anything to do with shit, then maybe somebody will do something about it. And Miss T, there's people out there that are angry. They're angry at Kurt. And if you don't believe me, I've produced some of them. They just don't want to speak up. They're angry at Salty for being accused. And that ranges from ranchers to people like me to people like Ellen. They're tired of being accused. All Ellen ever did was sell Kurt a fucking bar on payments.
Right.
She's never done anything. Does she like to drink? Yeah. So what? And she's another one that held job for years and years and years and years. Kurt, what the fuck did you ever do? Sit there on your mom's tit and fucking drink beer all your life and not take care of your kids. I'm sorry, Miss T. I'm just angry about this. I'm tired of this sort of shit. We've had other murders that have happened out there. A lady named Sarah Bailey was murdered out there. They tried to push it off like it was a suicide. We've had capital crimes out there of children being raped in that town. And now we have another child rapist named Wade Shoup, and they're about to release his ass from prison. And guess where he's going to end up?
Montello.
Right back in Montello. And Montello's the only, there's a law in Nevada that states a child sex offender can't live within 1,000 feet of a school, a park, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And then there's a certain clause to it that says, but certain ones. So is it A, that they can, or B, that they can't? And it really makes me sick that they have laws like that. So they get a guy that's living next to a school like that and they don't want to do anything about it. I guess then he's one that can. And there's one living right across the street from the school. His name's Larry Edwards, class 3 offender. Class 3 means that the psychiatrists think that they're more than likely going to offend again. Wade Shoup, class 3. He's done it 100 times and he's going to do it again. And you know who I blame? The judges.
Mm-hmm.
The judges for letting them out. Same with the judge that ever let James out and some of the things that he's done. I think that this judge in Utah will that he'll never see the light of day. Utah judges, they don't put up with that shit.
Yep. I was raised around men like that, and I don't do kindly to seeing men that close to the vulnerable, especially the minors.
You know, Miss T, I'm not perfect. Yeah, I'm not perfect, but I'd never do that. Rape, pillage, you name it. I wouldn't. That's just disgusting. And the things that I've been called, do I do drugs? Yeah, the drug of my choice is marijuana. I've never done meth. I have no desire to. And anyone that says I have is a goddamn liar. And anyone that wants to pay for it, they can pull a hair follicle and it goes back years and years. You want to pay for the test? I'll do it. But here's the thing. Before I do it, you put your money where your mouth is. And I'll bet you $5,000 that it shows that I've never done meth, not one fucking time in my life.
Well, actually, I would counter that with whoever wants you to do a drug test, put money where your mouth is and do one too, whoever accuses.
Oh, I could give a shit what they do. I just care about myself. I've never done it.
No, they'd shut up real quick probably if you did that.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of the ones pointing their finger at me like SP, I believe what JT said about the ex-wife saying that he's normal when he's doing drugs and not normal when he's straight. I wholeheartedly believe that. I see that 100% in that piece of shit. And anyone that thinks that he doesn't beat women or that he hasn't been abusive to women, look at how he treats some of the women on his show. Now, have I been mean to some of the gals on his show lately in chat? You damn right I have, and here's why. Because of the same reason that I just stated. How can they be so damn stupid to follow this idiot around with all the people he's accused and still believe any word that comes out of that convict's mouth? And do I care if someone's been to prison? Hell no, I don't care. But he's never learned his lesson. That's evident. At
Jim,
least the respect part of it.
I already check your email. It's in the email. He's asking
And
for
Jim,
a link
a
all
few
of a
things.
sudden.
I can guarantee you this much, Jim. I've never done meth and I've never cared to do it. I've admitted to what I do. It's weed, that's it. And no one in my family's ever done meth or been to jail for it or anything like that, unlike Kurt's family. All of the above. And Jim, here's how it works, Jim. Either you're loyal or you're not. And evidently, you don't need me anymore, and that's fine with me. And in all actuality, Miss T, my channel, my search channel that I have, anyone was welcome to use those videos as long as they do it in the name of helping search for Dylan Rounds to keep that story going so people don't lose interest in searching for him.
Right.
And I've never tried to make a dime off of that channel. I could care less if it got monetized. I've never done lives. I don't have a Cash App. I don't have PayPal, any of that stuff. And when I go on other people's shows, when they ask me if I want money, I've always said no. That's not. I'm not hurting for money. I just had about $5,000 in dental work done, and the only reason I haven't done it in the past is I scared shitless of the dentist.
I could relate to
think
that.
what they want. Yeah, they can think what they want. This is how scared of the dentist I am. I pulled my own teeth out in the desert before. I don't see Kurt going and getting his little 1-2 fucking can opener opened. All he uses that tooth for is to open beer. And I'm just tired of the bullshit. I can't believe that people believe him. And I'm not going to take it back. He's gay, and I don't care. The only one that really ever cared that he was gay was himself. Am I going to say that about Dylan? I can't say that about Dylan because I never met him and I don't know him.
Right.
But I know Kurt is. And I can reason things out. Justin wasn't sitting across in the parking lot for no fucking reason, Kurt. He knows exactly what you were doing. And I can put it this way to you, Miss T. If I had a 16-year-old daughter that motherfucker was doing whatever he was doing, yeah, you goddamn right I'd be waiting for him.
Oh, yeah.
And I would doubt that that's long from being squared. And the parents involved in this, I wouldn't fucking blame them a bit. It's called honeymooning and grooming.
Yep.
Irish Rose was completely right about that. And the things that they have done to that lady, I'm going to tell you something. That angers me. Do I believe her about that? About her recording the things that she has said? I wholeheartedly believe her. And you know why? Because I know Kurt. And one of the first things she said to me is he wouldn't shut the fuck up, even after being told to. And that's Kurt 110%. And Jim stated many facts on that show tonight of people and reasons why he knows that's true. And then all the man could do is sit there and yell, I'm not gay. Who the fuck does that? If someone calls me gay, I'm going to kind of laugh it off.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And do I have gay friends? Yes. Have I had people in my immediate family, not my brothers or anything that were gay, but cousins? Yes. And do I hate them or anything? My cousin David, I loved him. He died of AIDS, and I loved him a lot. He was a good kid. He never got in any trouble or anything. He went into the priesthood, and he ended up gay. And I don't care. That's this thing where people saying I'm lying about that. I'm not lying. And first off, I don't care. The only reason that ever mattered, let's say Dylan was seeing a 30-year-old babe that was smoking hot and everything. Well, who are they going to go talk to first? They would go talk to the person closest.
Any
And that's the only reason
situation,
it ever mattered.
any case, they always go to the significant other or your spouse. Or if it's a minor, they go to the parents. And then they work their way out. They go to the center circle and work their way out. It's an automatic.
Right. And if I'm such a liar about this, Candace Cooley recorded her and Ellen talking at one of the casinos in Windover when they met. And she was the first one to tell him. And I'm not going to use the word she used, but she called him a fucking gat, which means the same thing as a stick of wood sometimes. But that's what she called him. And I could care less. But he's not going to sit there and call me a liar, say this and that and all that other bullshit, because it's the truth. And another one that we need to talk about, Doug Hutton, DH.
Who?
From that man. How can I put this? I could show some of the texts that he has sent to me, and I'm not going to do that, even though he liked to do that and thought that it was going to hurt me somehow or some way. He's called in the middle of the night knowing that Phyllis was right out of surgery, and like he's going to try to throw an anchor in the fucking middle of a 24-year relationship. Sorry, Jim. I mean, sorry, Doug. And if you guys, I took that down, but we aired one of the voicemails that he left, and the texts were just as bad. And he's done things like this, and I know it for a fact. He will go out with a lady and get pictures from her in the nude or whatever, and then when they break up with him, he tries to put it out there. And I guess it's called porn revenge. I'm not going to let anyone take pictures of me naked or anything. But it's still wrong to do. And he's done that to at least 2 gals that I know of. And they both called me when I was going on his show and warned me about what he was going to do. And they both had the same story of what he had done. It's called porn revenge. And they both told the same story. One of them was in Ohio and one of them was in Southern California. So you people can take it for what it's worth. One of the things that really angered me about CC going on his show was I had a talk with him about what I called gaslighting. And he was saying that she was involved in Dylan's disappearance and the dad and this and that and gaslighting this and gaslighting that. And I told him, you can't do that. I'm not going to be part of that. I know him. Justin Rounds is a good man. Does he have regrets and stuff? What parent wouldn't? And that same night, that same show, that night, he did it. And I got off. I was done. And then he started with well, you're going to come back on my show or else I'm going to start telling lies about you. And I told him, go ahead, knock yourself out. And he did. He started doing exactly what SP did. There was no difference. And he's done that to all sorts of people, every person that's ever gotten involved with him. And I'm sure the lady Crime and Justice, sooner or later, she'll learn her lesson too. How can I put this, Miss T? They eat them up and shit them out for content. And then they beg for money off the dead backs of murdered people. That's what they do. And every single one of them that does super stickers, everyone from that fucking, what's his name over there? Duty Wrong. You're not fooling me, dude. Tyler, you're not fooling me anymore either. All of you guys that accept super stickers in the name of dead people and act like you're actually doing something about it, fuck the fuck off. And that means you too, Lance. You're doing the same thing that you were accusing Doug of months ago.
Mr. X, you too, Mr. X.
What's that, sir?
Mr. X, you too.
Now,
no,
here's
Mr. X does no. Wait. Jim and Mr. X's channel is not a crime channel. Have they covered it? Like I think Jim said 2 or 3%. That's not a crime channel. That's different. Someone wants to have a channel and make money. I got no problem with that at all. But these assholes that sit back and act like they're doing something for the dead person and helping solve the crime and this and that, what a fucking joke they are. And I've never claimed you guys. Yeah, I've never claimed to be a professional searcher or anything, and I've asked for all sorts of help. That's why Les Nuttall came and helped because he's been on professional search team. Him and his brother both have actually found people. I've always asked for help, and people say, oh, that's going to turn into a clusterfuck if we get people out there. No, because what they don't know is the people I'm involving are involved in search and rescue teams, and they're going to organize it. All I know is the place to go.
I'm sorry, Ty. If I can interrupt, goodbye, Lady Luck.
That's the lady, Miss T, before you get rid of her, that's the lady that had all the issues with you putting up the thing for the diaper drive. That's her.
She blocked me she kept timing me out in Salty, so I couldn't defend myself. So then I just started promoting my live.
Yeah. Junk.
She's the one that's also trying to get Repo Man after me. And Diva Puss is only up her ass because she wants the big super chats that I have screenshots of.
Yeah. And all those people that do that, Miss T, I mean, what the hell can they actually do? They're just a bunch of keyboard pussies. They run their dick beaters from a distance on the keyboard. They try to look up your past like they're going to hurt you or something. Here's how I feel. Anything that's been said or done has already been said or done about me. Knock your fucking self out. But one of you step in front of me and do that, and we'll see what happens. And that includes Kurt, Salty, Doug. Doug is as big as his ass is. I got news for all of them. I've got a concealed carry license. I can carry a weapon. I'm not a felon, unlike they said. And unlike what those assholes have been trying to make out for me, I put in 45 years of hard labor and was able to retire. Those guys can fuck off. Not one of them has ever done that, and not one of them ever will. That includes Salty. Did you hear what he told Jim today? Well, YouTube is a job. Well, yeah, it's hard and everything, but I wouldn't really call it a job.
Salty got around. Real quick, Ty, a lot of people don't know, I actually was on Salty's show because people are like, what's going on? I got sick of them poking holes at me, so I decided to go over there. And then they just started bombarding me. And, you know, the whole dynamic is just frustrating. And then some guy calls up and said I was indicted out of Flint, Michigan, and all this kind of shit. Listen, my phone is on 24/7. Anybody could call me at any time. You know what I mean? I went over there and said what I needed to. I wanted to talk about the Dylan Rounds cases. They can pick apart anything they want with me, and that's fine. I don't do a true crime channel. That's not what it's about. You know, and as far as you, Ty Corbin, it's not that I'm done with you. You called us about a month or so ago and said that you were out of all of this and that you were going to go work.
I watched Salty's show tonight, and you said, well, I don't really know him. I don't really, like you don't really need me or anything. And it's no big deal to me, Jim.
Hold on. Let me finish. Hold on. And then you tell me what you think. So here's what I said. I said, you told us that you were done with YouTube for a while and you were going to go work on an oil rig or something. Remember telling us that, me and Mr. X?
Family business.
Family business. Yeah, something like that. Maybe an oil rig is the wrong word. Whatever. Ice cream trucks, whatever you guys do. And the bottom line is we thought you were gone for a while, so we kind of didn't deal with you much anymore. And what I try to do is when I go on these shows is to tell people, listen, it's not that I sided with Ty Corbin and he's my friend and I'm with him till the end. Ty Corbin and I have never met in person. He's never been proven wrong on anything. Does he smoke meth? If he's a meth head, if he's a crack addict, if he's a sex offender, they're accusing you of all this kind of stuff, the worst of the worst stuff. You've never lied or been wrong about anything. And that's the connection that we have. I'm not your neighbor. You know what I mean? Now, and I don't mean for you to take that the wrong way, but I didn't go over there to help Salty's channel or anything. I went over there to make sure that they knew that I was around and I'll answer any question anytime. They're scared to come over with me, so I don't have a problem with you, Ty. I never have. I've always thought you've been 100, but I mean, this is nasty. This stuff is beyond nasty, Miss T. It just is.
Yeah.
It's not even about Dylan Rounds anymore.
If they don't have a fact, they just make it up. And Jim, when you ask Kurt, do you still think that Brenner didn't do this? Did you see the answer he gave you?
I'm sorry, say that again.
So when you asked Kurt if he thought Brenner did this now, do you remember the answer he gave you?
No, what was it?
Well, I think he knows more than he's saying. On Salty's show, you asked him tonight.
Yeah, I did. That program was all over the place. I mean, they wanted to ask me a bunch of questions, and they try to pick it apart. I said what I needed to say. It was all 100% right. I am so ready to move on from the Dylan Rounds thing. It's unbelievable, but it just kind of pulls you back in.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that I cannot stand is when you want to finger point, but it just drives me nuts. Like, Ty, look, I go boots on the ground where 5-year-olds go missing.
That's
not
cool.
Just be a keyboard warrior. And I really applaud you having that dedication to be out there and always putting Dylan in the forefront, because a lot of people will just get distracted by the drama and the bullshit.
And Buster's saying that I helped Salty's channel out. That was not my intention. Anywhere I go, the numbers are going to rise because people hear I'm over there. It's kind of the same community. It was not my intention. But let me tell you something. His super
groupies, y'all.
And his super stickers and super chats were not rolling in when I was over there. Did his numbers go up?
Oh, and I only have 3 in my chat, Jim.
Oh, is that all? Okay.
That's because he goes into Miss T and not in fucking guidance.
Who cares where he goes, Miss T? As far as I'm concerned, that fucker can go to hell. And I rue the day he stands in front of me. He acts all this and that while he's sitting over there in Orem. And he acts like this to Jim. I'll give you an example. Jim, if you actually called me and said, I'm going to fuck what he said that you said about his son, okay, I'm not going to repeat it. Do you think I would ever let you on my channel again? He's a liar. And if people can't figure that out, I got news for them. He's the con in convict. He's a liar, all of the above. And I've got no problem saying that right to his face. And I just can't believe that people still follow that. The other day he was saying it's a government psych op. Come on. That's just ridiculous. And the people eat it up. And if they're that dumb, I guess they deserve to stay there.
What's a government psych op is Area 52. Just go over there.
Yeah, and there is an Area 52 out in Montello. That's the funny part. It's a bar. Oh, yeah. And he tried to blame them for being involved, or like something happened over there. And that's completely ridiculous, too. The people that own that are actually related to Kurt through marriage at one time. And the guy's a good guy. He'd never murder anybody. And like I said, the finger pointing and this and that just for content, they have no idea what that can lead to. And then when you give it back to them, like when you dish it back out, they can't take it. It's funny as hell. And our channel is a perfect example of that. You don't know how many of them I've had call and threaten me with an attorney and this and that. You know what I tell them? If you think it's about you, get right on it, because you're going to pay an attorney to laugh at your ass, and that's it.
Oh, yeah. Most of them do.
It's,
and half the time, if you take it to court, they will just be like, okay. And it gets thrown out. And then they claim a win. It's just bullshit.
Yeah, the whole thing is sick. It's a sick scenario.
Yeah.
It's a sick world. It really, really is. The whole thing is disgusting. You know what I mean? I just, it comes down to a point where, you know, and that's why I told Mr. X, this is, I don't want to do a true crime channel. I don't even want to talk about Dylan Rounds. Will we? Because it's in the news and there's a group that had followed me over there. Yeah, but, and Miss T, I don't even consider you a true crime channel. Are you a true crime channel?
Yeah. You even said that since day one. Yeah. I do true crime. I advocate for a lot of the missing kids 5 and under predominantly. The ones that don't.
You consider yourself, you're a true, but I don't think that you're the same as a lot of these. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but like you're different. You seem different than like Queen Bee or Perplex QT. Your channel's a lot different than that. What's the difference?
I only report on facts. I don't sit there and bring up drama when there is no evidence or any facts that are breaking news. I will always try to keep their face relevant or any updating news. But other than that, or I will be boots on the ground, just like that 2-year-old in Tampa. I was getting ready to head up there on Saturday and he was found Friday night. I get flyers. I work with a lot of boots on ground. So, and I was even in Tennessee for Summer Wells. So Tennessee Gambler can verify to that sign that that is in that location. There's not many people that do boots on the ground rather than just repeating the same bullshit and deep diving it instead of, it's kicking a dead cow, in my opinion, instead of, hey, maybe X, Y, and Z needs their story brought out. So that's why I started highlighting the FBI's top missing at one point and doing episodes on it, because they're cold cases that nobody is covering. But I did
at least some people try to do something, right?
Yep. And my last FBI tip went right to the location of Naomi Irion. I collaborated with a couple other YouTubers that she has a live on it from last year, and where our FBI tip went in, because we have to do it anonymously, found her. And he just made way to go to trial, Mr. Troy Driver. So yeah, I do. But I try to keep it fun too if I don't have it. Instead of doing drama, I try to have a fun channel.
Miss T, here's one thing that really gets me the most about all of this. Like I discussed with SL, DH, even Tyler Feller, all of them. They act like they care, and they don't really care. What they care about is that dollar sign coming in, and that's evident to me. And if they really did care, they would take all that money they get in and donate it to the families of the missing people that they're going after, or the murdered child, or to some thing like EquiSearch, a real search outfit, something like that. They would donate the money to that if they really cared.
Yep.
And people can think what they want. I'll never ask for money to go looking. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be about that. I'm going to go back out searching for Dylan as soon as the weather clears. I know that right now it's kind of ridiculous to even think that you're going to search for somebody out there. And it's just, I don't get it. I've done this on my own dime, and people say, oh, he does this and that. I got news for them. We're not struggling for money. We never have. Our family's not going to. If I had to go back to work, would I? Yes. I got no problem doing that. Even as hurt as I am, I would still go back to work, even disabled if I had to. They've said all sorts of rude things about Phyllis, that she wasn't sick, to the crack thing and all the other bullshit. And I'm just fed up with that. And that's why I wanted to call you and do this tonight. And I hope those people on those other channels, I hope they see what I'm talking about. Do I think they will? I doubt it.
Me sitting back and observing a lot of it, you got hit hard. And a lot of people pointed fingers at you, and you were, which I gotta admit, a lot of the true crime community will, if someone inserts themselves into a case, you will be subject to be eyeballed. But you got hit pretty hard.
Jim told you what happened, how I got involved in the case. I called Jim and I told him that Dylan was living at Kurt's place and had been for quite some time. He asked me how I knew, and I said, because Kurt's sister told me. I don't know if you remember that, Jim.
He knocked down, but he's probably listening.
Okay. And Jim told Justin Rounds about me. He told him that I knew the area very well, and they were having problems getting to places, finding things. And Justin called me and asked me to help. I didn't insert myself into shit. And as I got involved and saw how much this was bothering Justin, and I'm not going to say anything about CC, but it was evident to me that Justin Rounds was hurting. In no way, in shape, or form do I ever think he was ever involved in this. And it really angered me when people were saying that.
Even
people have skeletons in their closet and stuff. Here's one thing that really bothers me about all these crime sleuths is they always got to bring up the skeletons in people's closet that are involved in it. And what does it have to do with fucking anything? And that bothers me when people do that.
Sometimes depends, because sometimes those are the ones that are the suspects or the first offenders. So they always
you're 100. You know what, Miss T, you're 100% right on that. I was shocked when I saw parent involvement in missing children. The percentage of that. I was shocked when I saw that.
Statistics are more familiar. It's over 90. I want to say 95% to 97%. It's all familiar abductions or missing.
And then you had someone like DH, when those two boys were missing in California, go to the neighbor's house, side with the parents, and point his finger at him and yell and do the bullhorn Betty bullshit to the point where the guy kind of did what I did. That's why I always say to him, where are the boys? And I say that to SP and all of them to get the point across that they're doing exactly what he was doing to that guy. And it ended up being the parents. He was completely wrong, just like the other guy, just like SP. So wrong that you couldn't be any wronger, and the idiots fucking lap it up.
Now, if I can just clarify something with you, Bullhorn does protest certain ones that she will gut feeling that they are enough evidence points to that. That's the only time she will. Otherwise, she will be boots on the ground documenting, because I do work hand in hand.
You know what?
Her.
My advice to her is sign up for jury duty. It's not up to the public to judge. It's up to the jury to do it, and it's up to the cops to get the evidence and let them do their jobs.
Well, that's the issue. Is it's more of reporting the facts and reporting certain cases, because it comes to the point of where if you look at CNN, it's one thing. You look at News Nation, it's another thing. You look at Fox News, it's another thing. It's not somebody physically there showing you a layout firsthand, except for just
they're mostly the news is turned into opinion channels, not so much news anymore.
And they've got people in their pockets. So that's what she is trying to accomplish, is not being swayed by somebody that's buying her off more than actually getting out there and letting people see what's really going on. Now, protesting, that's one thing. Like the laundries, I grew up in that neighborhood at the end of the street. My high school soccer coach still lives across the street from them. There's different issues where she will go out on cases and not pull that or protest. But I don't have to agree or disagree with anybody that I collaborate with, whether it be Jim, you, Bullhorn. But there's certain times of where I honestly feel that sometimes you have to be that voice and scream from the rooftops, because who else is? Kind of like you are. Because nobody else will listen. Like with Quentin Simon, nobody was listening, that the mom was guilty. And nobody's sitting there standing up. Nobody has a voice for a 20-month-old baby that was thrown in the garbage. That is where I stand my ground. And I will protest for those things, and I will stand up for what's right, because that's when the system is corrupt, because they can arrest somebody just on an allegation, let alone not arrest somebody where a 20-month is MIA and all the fingers have publicly stated by the LE that it's gone to the mom. There's some issues, and there's certain times where protesting, I do believe, should be
the place to do that's outside the court building.
Not always, because they expect that. Now, if you go to the courthouse,
but I'm not going to go to somebody's house. I mean, you do that here in Nevada, and you're asking to get shot. You go to somebody's house with a bullhorn and fucking keep them up all night. I don't agree with that, because here's the thing: what if you're wrong?
The part about, let me interrupt you real quick. The part about that, I'm not going to get into what people do or don't do or whatever the fuck, but I'll say this much. The part about that is, if I go to a house that, let's just say Jeffrey Dahmer lives there, and I want to go out and I want to scream on a bullhorn, or I want to yell into a speaker, or just, create that kind of drama, out there. Not that the people that are the problem that I always have with that, Miss T, and I'd like to get your take on this, is I've seen some of these things, and I've talked to people in these neighborhoods that this stuff has gone down. There's children's bus stops. If I was a neighbor, if I lived 2 doors down from Gabby Petito or Brian Laundrie's parents, and there was 500 people outside, and I couldn't get home from work, and my kids couldn't go out and play in the front yard, and I couldn't get a pizza delivered because there's people in the street. What about all the people that live in those neighborhoods that now have got to deal with that? To me, that's the part that really bothers me.
Well, let me tell you, on the receiving end, I've told you my mom had a class action lawsuit against GM, and I've always been very open about that. I had 200 workers on strike in my front yard. I had people being paid to drive into the strikers and the scabs coming through and trying to hit the strikers in my yard. I had somebody smashed into the crowd while I'm playing in my front yard. I do know how it affects on the receiving end, but to an extent, that was because of my mom's voice.
Well, no, not your mom and not your house. What about your neighbors 2 doors down?
I'm still friends with that whole neighborhood, and I was
if I was in the neighborhood, and that was going on, I would go to those people and be like, listen, I live here too, and I'm not involved in any case. I'm not involved in any strike. My kids want to ride their bikes. I want to be able to pull out of my driveway without thinking I'm going to hit 50 people that are screaming with bullhorns. What about the other people in the community that are hearing that being yelled at? Your mom's is a little bit different situation. Your mom was it's not like your mom killed 4 people and then was at home partying and they were protesting outside. That's a little bit different. But for people to come to a house of somebody who hasn't been convicted, what about the other people that live around there? Do they need to be taken into consideration?
Well, I'm friends with that whole neighborhood. If you want to talk to that, like I said, my soccer coach lived right across the street. She still does. They also
no, Miss T, he's just saying random. He's just saying randomly.
I know, but I know firsthand of people that have went through it, including myself as a child, and also that whole neighborhood. I'm friends with all of the neighborhood that's down there, and it's more on the fact of start speaking. If they would have stood up and started talking, or not losing him, it wouldn't have been an issue. Now, if you go to the courthouse, if you go to public places, they expect that, and they're not going to do shit. You get the attention when you're out there. You apply pressure, so then hopefully sometimes they'll squeal, unless you're the fucking laundries that are dirtier than fuck. Now, that whole neighborhood, yeah, it was an annoyance, but they also supported it because they did not think it was right of what was going on, and you need to call it when you see it, especially if it's in your same neighborhood, because there's a potential killer in your neighborhood. Your kids are going to be locked up until that person's found or put away.
Under seal and key, and you're going to watch that person through a scope on your rifle. Hey, Jim, one thing that I noticed today when you were on SP's show is he goes, oh, Jim, why'd you have to call my work and tell him this and that and this? One of the things that I'm going to get out there right now is those assholes can dish it out, but they can't take it.
I think he was fired. I've heard from more than enough people in the last couple of weeks that maybe it took them about a month or 2 to put it together that he was released from his job.
Well, I can tell you this much. They probably found, and this is how those places work in Utah, Jim. The places like he works for, and I'm not saying that place was this way, but a lot of those guys that do that kind of manual labor and stuff, they go by Lowe's and they pick up 15 illegal Mexicans, and they find a niche of the ones that work really good, and then they charge the clients like $40 an hour, and they only pay those guys like 10, and they make their money that way. And the reason they use those type of people is because they're looking for any type of money they can get. And I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying that's how those kind of places work. And the reason I know that, Jim, is we do exterior services too, but we do it ourselves. We don't hire people like that. And it really bothers me when I hear that. And I probably think you're right. Either that or they found a guy that would do it for half the price of what he was doing it for. And I could care less, Salty, after all the shit that you put people through and pointed your finger at them. Well, what comes around goes around. You called Jim's, and I know he called your dad, and it was more to it than he just thought it was funny. He was one of the things where everyone on the show was going, oh yeah, call him. And they call your dad, and they think that shit's funny. And I don't know how old your dad is, Jim, but my dad's 86 years old. And you want to call him fucking around like that, I have to take that phone and ram it down your damn mouth. And I know you feel the same way.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too, and I realized this when I was on the show, all those people calling me, I just kind of ran out of gas. I'm like, you know what? I'm never going to convince these people over here. I've said what I needed to say.
It was kind of like I kept feeling like I was back in the Murdaugh trial where they just kept wanting to say stuff until you'd be able to agree with them. It just, they want to believe their own fantasy and their own truths.
Their intelligence level, Miss T, for them to think that they know smarter than the cops, so to speak. And the people that, like I said, professionally trained to investigate this, unlike the other people, I thought Box Elder cops did a great job. And I'm going to say that again. If it wasn't for them, they wouldn't have Brenner indicted right now on murder charges. And they did a great job doing that. And all these people think that they know more than those cops, more than the FBI, labs that processed all this stuff.
Yep.
And it's just hilarious. They got a video of the man doing it, and they've got all the proof they need. They don't really even need the body anymore. They've got the DNA, they've got the forensic, they have the forensic data.
As close
They've
as
got
you
him.
can get to make a
And these
conviction without
idiots,
the body.
yeah, and these idiots think that it's some sort of conspiracy or there's still somebody else that did it. It couldn't have been Brenner. And Kurt wouldn't even answer the question. And for him not to think that it's Brenner, I got news for you, dude. You better quit drinking. Better quit drinking. Because the brain's pickled if you don't think he did this. And I've been mad about that sort of stuff, Jim. You know how I felt. That one of the last things Lance said to me was, "Oh, if you think Brenner did this all by yourself, you're one dumbass bitch." And I've never said that I thought somebody else did it with him. What I've said is what remains to be seen is whether he was coerced or somebody knew or helped after the fact. That's all I've ever said. And with the Chase thing, did I think he was involved in doing it? When I saw that phone come out of that pond, I was so hot at him I couldn't see straight. And same with Robert, because Robert had just left. And Robert never got to see that phone, never knew about the phone, any of that stuff. And people are saying, "Oh, blah, blah, blah." Well, no, that's not how it went down. I explained how that went 100 times, and I don't care what people think. They make it up as they go. What people should be asking themselves is, how did Salty know the phone came out of the pond? Law enforcement didn't tell him, and you can go back and watch the answers he gave on Jim's show. Law enforcement first, then Don Hatley. No, none of that. He found out from Kurt, and Kurt found out from James Brenner, because James Brenner is the one that put it there.
All right,
And
if I can
I don't get
interrupt.
how people. Yeah, go ahead.
I got a phone call that wanted to talk.
You have a phone number here?
I got a phone call. It's the worm line. Here we go.
Hey, the only thing I was going to say is Miss T is so far different from all these other true crime channels because all she wants to do is actually try to figure out what happened to the person that we're talking about. Every other true crime channel out there, they start off talking about the person, but then start bashing other people. Miss T is the only one that actually truly, legitimately sits there and just worries about the person that's either missing or whatever's happened to them.
I agree.
And I can honestly say, when all those people came up into Tennessee for that Summer Wells case, she came up and she did not make like any big deal about it. She was truly there for that little girl when other people were up here trying to make a nuisance of themselves just to be able to put out content. Miss T was truly up there trying to do something for that person. And I think that's what gets lost in everything. Miss T should be up there like a ton of people following her because she's truly for that. And then it goes back to also, Jim, you are like not even true crime. You and Mr. X, Miss T is part of that show. Everything else are so far beyond what these people are doing, but they keep pulling you back in because you were the original person on the Dylan's Rounds case. And everybody starts losing everything. So they automatically, like today, I got hashtag Jim Terry to get pulled in to a show that I don't even watch. And I thought it was it was like hilarious to even see. And Ty, you're the only person in that area that I truly believe has a level head on his shoulders and speaks the truth. It's like everybody in that Montello area is so far just like out of their mind It's unbelievable. So Ty, hey man, everything you've said has been spot on, and I appreciate you. Jim, hey, NWO, New World Order, YouTube, you got it, bro. Miss T, keep doing what you're doing, girl. We love you. That's all I had. I got to get ready to go. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Miss T, I think can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I've got you back. I thought it went out for a minute. I was going to go out and come back in because I thought it was freezing up. Sorry about that.
You're good.
So I think there's been a lot of that going on in the true crime thing. I mean, I believe in that Idaho case, and I don't know much about it, but one thing that I did notice is there was a professor or something that was taking legal action against people that were doing exactly what these guys have been doing all along.
A psychic on Instagram.
And Miss T, Jim will tell you that I thought Chase did this at one point in time. I was really pissed. I thought that he was using the old rail grade to get to Ogden and stuff, which he was doing. But I thought he was actually involved in this murder because of where the phone was found. And I mean, I was pissed off. And when I found out it wasn't so, and even on DH's channel, I said that I'm wrong. I will apologize to him. And I did. I've gone right to the jail where he's at and apologized to him. By the way, he called me today.
I remember you mentioning that. Did you ask him what you wanted to ask him?
He didn't have the time for it. I think he needs more. I think I need to put more money on his books. I don't know. That's what it sounded like.
What did he say about
Poor
the
guy's in jail. He got blamed for this too. Jim cleared him. And even when Jim cleared him, Jim will tell you, that's bullshit, Jim. I mean, you don't know how the time thing can, how much time you can cut off going across there. And where
What
the
did he
phone was
say
found,
about?
and I
What did he
couldn't
say
tell
about the
Jim.
interview?
I could not tell Jim at the time why I felt that way. I knew where the phone was found, but I couldn't tell Jim. Fuck Jim. The phone was found right where he was camped. I never said that to you, did I, Jim?
No, we'll say that again, Ty. I'm sorry, I was reading the chat. Say that again.
So the phone thing, when that was found, I was really pissed off. And you remember when I thought Chase did this and you said, well, he's been cleared this and that. And I couldn't tell you that the phone was found right where he was camped. And you don't know how I felt about that. I was really pissed off and I couldn't figure out
Right.
why you know, all the above, but I never told you about the phone and I've never told you why I had to feel that way other than you can get across the salt flats on the old rail grade pretty fast if you got the right vehicle to get to Ogden. So the time thing, and it ended up not being so. The time thing was only 15 minutes and it was Snowville to the north, not to the east. And you can't get to
Right.
Snowville. The only fastest way there is the highway. There is no shortcut to there. So, and I ended up going to the jail and apologizing to him. And do I think Salty will ever apologize to anybody? No. Will DH ever apologize to anybody? I'll bet he never went and apologized to the people that put up the sign, "Where are the boys?" And that's why I disagree with doing that. And I never, how can I put this, Jim? Did I ever say that I thought Kurt did this?
No.
All I did was tell the truth, and I was not the first person to tell you that he was gay. And it just, you know, it's caused a lot of problems. And you guys, if I had to do it all over again, I can honestly say I would, and I'll tell you why. Because they got to catch the person that did it. And what those people have said to me and everything is nothing compared to what that boy had to go through being murdered. Nothing. So
You're right.
if they can just say whatever they want to me, I don't care. It might have led to helping solve this. I don't care. I would do it again.
Real quick, not to totally change the subject, you got somebody in your chat room just observing. And she is freaking out. And she says, I am freaking outraged that no one corrected crazy Kathy Waters about that woman on Jim's recording. That is not me. Let me say that unequivocally.
I addressed it and I told her she could speak in the chat as long as she was civil because she did stand up for me after me and X's addressing. So as long as she stays civil. Now, I did clarify it with this right here. They also thought it was me at one point.
Yeah,
Don't take it too harsh.
it was not just observing that was on that call. It was not Miss T. It was not a paid actor. That woman called me. Salty kept saying, I says, well, if it's not, listen, if that person was not real, he would have said it right at the beginning. He wouldn't want to keep listening and listening and listening and listening and listening and listening. That was a real call by a woman that dated Salty. Is what she's saying true? I don't know. I have her phone number. I said, let's call her live. He wouldn't do it. But under no circumstances was that the woman just observing or Miss T or anybody else. I just want to clear that up.
Well, if you remember the first time that you said, does this name sound familiar? His voice cracked and said, yeah, it sounds like a baby mama.
Yes, the very first time, not tonight, the very first time he admitted that it was her. I played it tonight and he just said that it was, not true. And then they just started bombarding me with shit. Here's the simple truth, guys, okay? Is I went over there to clear some certain questions up that they had, show that I wasn't scared. I do not watch that show. I will not go over there again. I went over there to confront people that I can't confront on my show. And I was able to do that. He wanted to hear it, and I played the recording, 40 minutes of it, which, by the way, had been played on Johnny Sloth's show before. But no, that was not a voice actor. They're going to say it's just observing. They're going to say it's Miss T. They're going to say whoever woman it is, Betty Hayward, so that they can go after it. Funny, they're not saying that it was, original Irish Rose, or that it was, one of their people. It's always people that have to do with me.
Hey, Jim, original Irish Rose is definitely not one of their people.
No,
I can wholeheartedly tell you. Was she over there at one time? Yes, but she's definitely not one of them. And I can tell you this, Jim, in my opinion, I wholeheartedly believe her about the recording. I really do.
I believe there's a recording. I just, Ty, and you and I have talked about this off the air, and Mr. X, you and I you can explain this a little bit more. Whether it's legit or not telling us right off the bat, not getting us anything, and coming on the channel and promoting it and saying it on our channel where we're getting nailed for letting her say that without any proof, we just can't continue to go on with it. And then she starts shitting on us and going on other channels. Mr. X, that might be a true call that she has, but what am I supposed to do?
Here's the thing.
There's nothing you can do.
Ty has a pass. Everything he says checks out. So let's just say Ty's into Major League Baseball. He has a slump. He's never had a slump, but let's just say he did. He's still going to play. This woman's never made a team. We don't know anything about her. She's never been able to prove anything. Jim, I get people at least twice a week wanting to send me something, including a lady this week, sending me something about Doug Hutton or Salty. And I said, listen, I'm not interested. Here's what I'm interested in. Get me in touch with Salty Pancake or Doug's cellmates. If they ever had a cellmate and they want to come on the show, interesting, I'll listen to that. But his fucking work history, Salty's work history, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. We have more damning things on them than where he worked at some fucking lawn service in 1998. Who gives a shit?
And the people that are over there are never. Listen, I explained everything, including who hired me, how it went down, and everything. And there were still people saying, that's not true. You're lying. He's got three types of people over there. He's got people that hate me, people that wanted to hear me, and a few people that like what he's doing. That's it. Because I even said, what are you going to do when this goes away? We're still going to cover true crime. What are you going to cover? How are you going to cover it?
Jim is very tight with his money. Let me tell you, the only person who's ever hired anybody as a voice actor is me. I hired the African girl voice for Jim Terry, the voiceover, and the Liam Neeson guy, okay? It's $65 to $100 to buy the rights outright for their voice. Now, and that's just, 50 to 100 words? How long was that called, Jim? An hour? You're going to get a voice actor to improv with you for an hour? It's fucking ridiculous.
And then he 90% of it, and he says, well, she doesn't know my dad's name. And then here's my paperwork and all this. Listen, he wanted it played. I played it. Let's call the woman live on the show. He wouldn't do that. And listen, that whole thing was not really – I was there to answer questions about the Dylan Rounds case and to do that. And I probably shouldn't have went over there, but I was sick of just them trying to tear me apart over there. I wanted to show that I wasn't scared. And, how much longer can I go on and just say and answer the same questions? Oh, even Kurt Wadsworth on that show was complimentary towards me. They can't be complimentary towards me because it doesn't pay. Look at the amount of super stickers and super chats they got on that show. It was dry as fuck.
Right.
I'm sick of it.
what we have here, Ty, this is what I've learned in doing these live shows, and I'm not disrespecting anybody. You're not one of these people. Miss T's not one of these people. Betty Hayward's not. Is you got people out there that are like Ruben Sanchez, who's, I think, a decent enough guy, but they're physically or emotionally going through something. So they want to be part of a community, or they want their mind off of their pain. I think Irish Rose is one of those people. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You know, like, for example, what's the one lady in San Bernardino, Jim? A real nice lady, Dana Nicole. Caretaking her mom, you know, going through cancer. You know, she wants to be able to laugh and have ridiculousness and this and that. But there are people that are also bitter and mean. That's, you got a blue butterfly. That's where you got an original Irish Rose. And some of these people are just emotional vampires, where they just want to suck the life out of you by dumping all their problems onto you. And it's just not what we do. We're here to entertain people, not take your problems on.
And I had nothing against Repo Guy. I just found out that Lady Luck wanted to sick him on me. And the point is after I heard it today, and I told you this, Jim, on the phone, and the way he responded was he really liked you in the beginning, but I feel like he feels like he has to prove himself to you. And it's more of his ego than... And this is just saying truthfully. I think it has to do more with his ego and his own issues than his real issues with you, to be honest.
Probably.
What about when I was on there and some guy kept calling in and said I was indicted in Flint, Michigan, or the girl in Flint, Michigan got you indicted? That is Nicolina 777. What is that fucking bullshit about?
Who knows?
You can't fix stupid, Jim. You can't.
Indicted for what? Jim, I can't wait till tomorrow's show, and I'm going to put this out there right now. Tomorrow, I will be unveiling my call with Sleeper Cell Jen's. I mean, I shouldn't even do this because I just create haters. With his college, where they verify that he did not graduate. I spoke to your brother, Jim, and I will show everything of Mark Terry of where he graduated, and it's very easy. I come with receipts. I'll show you high school yearbook pictures, Jim, everything you want to see. So it's just like Salty, okay? And what's his name? Fucking Sleeper Cell Jen. Mark Terry went to a correspondence school and never went on campus. Well, I'm going to show a picture of you and Mark Terry on that fucking campus tomorrow. And I'm going to show you newspaper clippings. I'm going to be able, because it's so easy to prove liars wrong. And that's why he's got 2 people watching him, and I got 220. Not that it's a big deal, but the 220 matter because they're people who enjoy. Jim, we're at the point now of the Jim Terry TV group, or whatever you want to call it, that people are asking for us to come on every night. When are you going to come on? Are you guys going to come on? Please come on tonight. Not 1 or 2, but a bunch. So I think we're doing pretty good and people enjoy what we're doing, period.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I'm going to really, really, really back off of the true crime and the Dylan Round stuff. There's nothing more to say. You know, I'll respond if somebody comes after me. We're counterpunchers. I mean, the fact that they were on that show and they were like, well, you went after this person. No, I didn't even know who these people were first. And, you know, I let Repo Man have his say, and he could do what he wants, say what he wants, but he could show me his guitars and his televisions. The guy is obviously unhappy. He's obviously not very happy with himself. You know what I mean? These people, you're never going to change their mind, no matter. You could have the cure for cancer. They're still going to say it exists. These people are whack jobs. They always have been. And listen, my phone is on. If any law enforcement or detectives or anybody wants to reach me, it always has. But calling me up at this point and saying I'm being indicted or the FBI wants to talk to me, if any of that was true, they would call me. And if they do, I'm here. Otherwise, some, you know, what's that called? Those phone numbers that people use, What's Up Now or What's Up app or whatever. I get 500 of those a day. If you want to talk to me on the show. It's very
Proton, email, and all this bullshit, Jim. I get those too. People saying, I got this and salty pancakes. I don't give a fuck. Here's the 2 salty pancakes things I'm interested in. He gets hit by a bus. You got videotape of it. Okay, cool. I'll watch that. I mean, I don't want to see it happen, but I'll watch it. You have
beats the hell out of him back.
Something like that, like something like that we don't already know. Okay, or we can have an interview, because I would, not that we have to expose that the guy was in prison. I would like to know, I'm curious, what he was like inside for 3 years, just as a person who's dealt with him. What was he like in prison for 3 years? Was he a bitch? Was he a tough guy? You know, Did he piss sitting down? I mean, these are questions I would like to ask a cellmate if he had one. I don't know. I think that would be interesting and entertaining at the same time. But other than that, I'm really not interested in where he worked in 2003. Don't care. That's it.
I think the prison thing's coming there, Mr. X.
Somebody has that information? I mean, I would.
Right now, I say nothing, Jim. Right now, I say nothing. But
and I just said that as a joke. Like,
there's
I mean,
there's nobody more deserving of what Mr. X just said than Salty Pancakes. There's no
I would just,
more
I mean,
deserving of that.
yeah. Here's how I would do it. Like, if it was on Jim Terry TV too, and I had the show, I would just simply ask questions about that. I know this guy, been on his show, or Doug Hutton. You know, I've never been on Doug's show, but just like, I would like to know what kind of a person where, you know, did they get in a fight? You know, anything. I just think that after knowing these people through the internet for 6 months, I'm interested in prison stories. So, and somebody that we kind of know, and I don't necessarily like, I'd be interested. I'd listen to that. Even if he interviewed him, I'd listen to it. I'm talking about Salty. If he interviewed his own cellmate, that's a show I'd listen to.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
I'd rather Jim do it, but
one of my longtime friends and wanted to get his take on certain things because it correlated with a certain case that I was working on.
Yeah, you know, Salty interviews his cellmate, his cellie. That's what they're called, Mr. X.
Okay.
But he would definitely make him out to be the block king.
Could you imagine how entertaining?
I would never believe anything off the Salty's channel, especially concerning that. How can you believe anything after?
How Jim and I tell goofy stories, Ty, of, you know, things that happened to us in New Orleans or here or there. Like, I'm sure I don't know if they had a cellmate or a cellie or he had any of that. I'm not sure what kind of system he was in or anything like that. But wouldn't that be interesting to hear that? Just like, oh, you know, hey, one time we got in a fight with some Mexican guys or this or that, or just any story. You know, the warden put me in a hole for a week. I would listen to that.
Very much so.
You know,
I'm laughing about that, Mr. X, because I've been working on that for about a month and a half, and I do have a contact, and I have talked to the guy, and he's, how can I put this, a little bit wish-washy. I'm going to have to come up with some money, which I'll do for the interview. Doesn't bother me a bit, but
how much does he need?
He wanted 500. And I don't blame him. And he wants to hide his face because, like Salty's boss, his boss doesn't know he's a felon either. And he wants to disguise his face to make sure.
Over on Salty's channel, they were extremely interested in your new teeth. What's going on with your teeth?
I went and had a bunch of dental work done. And
well, how do they know that? How do they know that? How do they know that?
Well, because it's evident when you look at me now.
I haven't seen you in a while. When have people seen you? When have you shown your face lately?
Johnny's show.
Oh, I didn't know you went on over there. When did you go on over there?
And a couple days ago.
Okay,
I'm going to help him out, Jim. I'm going to help him out, just like Mrs. T. I would help her out too. I'm not going to do. There's certain people I wouldn't help out. But when people have good hearts, and I'm a pretty good judge of that, I think, I'm going to help them out.
Thank you, Ty. I appreciate that.
And Miss T, your channel is moving here. You got so many cash apps and new members. Are you going to announce them or what? I'll be quiet if you want to do some announcements.
Sure. Well, apparently earlier I only started talking in like 3 of my alts because I kept getting timed out, but I only have 3 in my chat on a normal day. Wanted to say thank you to my cash apps of Freya and Tennessee Dilf. Always got my back. 99-cent super sticker from Stiffy. Thank you so much. This means the world to me. Bob Farrell coming in with a membership. Thank you so much. I think I'm getting close to 50 members, y'all.
That's huge. That's huge.
Cheryl Datillo. Thank you so much, lovely. Smile now, cry later. Thank you so much. I knew you said you were coming in, and don't apologize. I'm just thankful you're here. Christine Malazzo, love your channel, $5. Thank you so much. Joy Perry coming in with a $1.99 super sticker. Kyrie, Thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. Super
Love her.
chat. Blah, blah, blah.
So hot.
Enjoying the live stream. Now, $20 coming from JD, one of my biggest supporters. Thank you so much, JD.
I like her.
Greatly appreciated. Stella coming in as another member. Thank you so much, Stella. Welcome to the Miss T shenanigans. Get ready for your Friday nights. Twin Mama coming in with a $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. Leanne coming in with $4.99. Thank you. And I saw all of us getting timed out as a group. Thank you. Buster Bradamus. I'm starting to pronounce like Jim. Miss T,
Buster.
Ty is the man. F Salty Crust Crack. Kim O is a new member. Thank you, Kim. I really appreciate it. Here's the big one, y'all. JD coming in with $100 super chat.
Who's JD? Do we know who this person is?
He's JD.
The man?
Yes.
Is that JD Jenny?
No.
I don't know. I can tell you in some places in LA, Jim, for $100, you'd have to fillet them.
I don't know what that means.
You'd have to fillet them.
$100 coming in with JD Jenny. JD, $100. Miss T will use that money to buy methamphetamine. And she's buying it off by Corbin.
I actually take all of this, or even the Cash Apps, I've been taking it back and putting it into my system and being able to further create content, bring the awareness, and also possibly eventually be boots on the ground. Besides ghost hunting, y'all, I'm not giving that up. And Jim,
That's what I'm interested in. Hey, let me ask you a couple questions, because I don't think I've ever asked you this, and you've mentioned soccer coaches and all this. You were a big-time high school star, high school athlete. I didn't know that until the other day when you brought it up.
Yeah. I was
What did you play? What sports did you play?
Center defense.
No, what sport?
Soccer, I was center D. Tackle football, I was the nose on defense.
You actually played with the guys?
Yes.
In high school?
You got any pictures of that?
In high school?
I'll bring up some high school friends.
Wait, hold on. You
them.
played on the men's team in high school as a fucking nose guard?
I played with them on practice, yeah. Tackle.
With helmets and stuff?
No. This was in the backyard.
Oh, okay. I thought you were actually on the high school varsity.
Because that would be like national news.
I was still
Hey,
playing
Jim,
with them, though.
Have you ever seen that a few years ago? It was on YouTube quite a bit, but there was a girl in Utah that was playing Little League football, and she had like the record touchdown for the United States for Little League football, and she was a girl.
Yeah.
Now,
How old was
when
she?
they
Like
get older,
7?
when they get older, no, they're not going to play boys football. Not.
Well, Jim did train a girl, and I know this for a fact, that was a high school kicker at Countryside High School. I think she was only on the JV team. Is that right, Jim?
Yeah, and I've trained a couple of kids. I actually even put a girl on an arena team named, I can't think of her name now, real good-looking girl. By the way, Miss T, not to totally change the subject here, what you played soccer? You played football? What else did you play? What did you letter in high school? What sports?
Wait a minute, Jim. We got to ask Mr. X, how did you know that? How did you know that I did that? That's the question.
How'd you know that you did? How do we know that, Mr. X?
Because I banged her older sister.
All right, get out of here.
I thought we were married, or you're my brothers. Which
No, he's talking about another girl. He's talking about a totally different story. So what sports did you play in high school, Miss T?
All of it. I lettered in track, volleyball, basketball, football. I did the shot and disc.
You were
I
field
got
event.
state. I got state every time I shot and disc and made records.
No shit.
Yeah. Arm wrestling, powerlifting.
Your fathers both must have been proud.
Now, soccer, I played competitive co-ed and traveled all over the United States on it.
I never, ever knew that about you. I mean, I thought you were in the band or something.
Well, I did that in middle school. I played the flute. Remember how?
Skin flute.
Yeah. And, but that was as far as I got. But the rest of it, I was a full-on jock. And then I was also a varsity cheerleader. 1st and 10, do it again. go, fight, win. Yeah.
Did you have a lot of boyfriends in high school?
None. After I graduated, then they all tried to get in my pants.
So you didn't even have sex till after high school?
They were all scared of me, afraid I'd kick their ass because I did before.
You seem like the kind of girl that would have been messing with her teachers. Did
Well,
you? Oh, fuck. You did, didn't you?
no,
You didn't have a math teacher like tutor you?
no.
Oh, okay, good. I don't want to hurt you.
When I was in high school, I was dating an older gentleman that I was working with when I was a chef, and I was still working full time as a cook and still doing my full.
How much older?
He was in his early 20s.
Oh, okay. And you were what, 16?
17.
Yeah, that's about Ty Corbin's speed back in the day. That's not bad.
He's still.
I'm
old,
interested
so.
in the Ty Corbin teeth thing. That's what I want to know. I want to know if he got fucking veneers or if he got, because I had that one tooth put in. The fucking, what's it called? An implant? That shit was horrible. That was just one tooth.
I heard.
Pretty
Let me tell you what I
painful,
heard.
huh?
Hold on,
Yeah.
Tyler. Here's what I
They
heard
don't
about
do it that. They don't do it that way anymore. They do a thing like a titanium horseshoe with
They
the,
told me that Ty
with
looks
the
like
teeth on it.
Ty Tom Brady now. He got extensions. Somebody said his hair's real fucking long. He's got all these big cap. They said his teeth look like my grandma types, all caps.
He was on
Yeah,
camera.
Wayne
before
Newton
the
teeth.
time. He was looking good.
Where
Here's
was
the
he
thing,
at?
great.
Jim. Here's the thing, Jim. All the bullshit that they've said about me since
Yeah.
you've known me, we went to Arizona once, came back. We're going again tomorrow. I've just had almost $6,000 in dental work done. If I'm such a fuck up, how do we afford to do that?
Right.
You know,
Hell,
that's
one
more
tooth
than
cost
any of
me
those
$4 grand.
assholes. Any of them. Doug, Salty, Kurt, any of them. None of them are capable of doing that because they're lazy bastards. It'll never amount to anything because they're just lazy and they are what they do.
Did you see when Doug's roof was caving in from the rain?
I'm
I
looking for.
can't talk. I cannot. I have no room to speak for that one.
I mean,
Holy
like,
shit.
I can understand being in a desert or living in, a shed or, an older beer, but it's like Los Angeles, you pay, it probably, you're paying like $2 grand a month. There's probably no excuse for that. I mean, it doesn't even rain here that often.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it now. Okay, I'm looking at Ty Corbin over on Johnny Yarbrough's. I did not see this. So Ty Corbin's hair is real long and blonde. He's got a tan, wearing some new Nike muscle shirt. He's got huge new choppers. He looks
good.
Hey, Jim,
you look
I
good.
have huge new chompers, and one
You
thing
look
I
good.
have, you don't, hair.
Yeah, Ty, I'm shocked. I'm laughing because I didn't see this. I mean, you look like one of these ladies that's getting ready, or one of these guys or ladies in Hollywood that's getting ready to do like a book tour, and they come out and they look real spry. Did you have any Botox?
No, I wouldn't do that. Come on. I
Any
wouldn't have my
wrestling?
dental work done because I finally got the nerve up to go do it. I didn't want to do it, and I didn't want to do it, and I didn't want to do it, and I basically got tired of the monster teeth. So
I
Could
never
you
knew-
imagine
dental work done.
how much different Johnny Sloth would look like if he got his teeth done? He would look
I've
like a completely
encouraged him.
different dude.
Mr. X.
Yep.
encourage him to
I mean,
do
I hope he
that.
does. I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying,
No, I agree.
it changes
My teeth
changes the
weren't
person's look.
that bad. I mean, my teeth weren't that bad. I had 14 on the top still, but they hurt, and I had problems. I chewed Copenhagen for a long time like a dumbass, and it's my own fault. And I ruined my teeth doing that. So anybody out there listening, don't chew Copenhagen. Don't do
Got a
tobacco.
floss. Yeah.
I quit doing it 12 years ago, and I paid for it. I had everything, Jim, from teeth that I had pulled being out in the desert where I only got part of them, and they'd caused infection, stuff like that. So I had some problems, and I knew it. And dentist
pulled
that I
your
went
own
to,
out.
I tried, and he said,
Yeah,
I'm glad
he
you came in when you did, because I could have had some problems with what was going on.
Hold on. You pulled your own teeth out. How do you do that? And which teeth were they? Did you use pliers and a cloth or what?
Yeah, so
Thor?
it got to the point one time out there, Jim, where I took a pair of needle nose and bent them with the torch, got them bent and everything. And It actually worked pretty good. I got most of the tooth out, but I left part of it in there. And
That's
infection.
probably
chill.
where
I had
the
two of
pain
them.
came from.
I had 2 of them that I did that with.
Which, okay, hold on. Did you just touch the tooth with the pliers, or did you use a cloth?
In the mirror and touch it with the pliers so you know that's the one that really hurts, and grab hold of it and big shot of whiskey or 2 and pull that fucker or do the best you
Wow.
can. And
Did it
both
crack?
times that I did it, I didn't get the whole tooth. I only got part of it.
I'm getting
And
fucking
it
chill.
caused some problems.
Yeah.
And
So
now you got a
those
little
guys were-
sliver in there. Hold on. How did they get the little piece that was still in there out, or was there like a little nub hanging out?
No, cut it surgically and went in and got it.
Yeah, Jim. They what they do is when I had that one taken out, same thing. They crack the tooth. They go like crack it in 4, and then if it's like in the back, and then they pull out
Yeah.
each little section of the tooth. So he got most of it. They just would have pulled out that section. And here's the other thing: if it's rotten, you can smell it too. I had a little incident. There.
You had a
Well,
smelly
it's all
tooth.
taken care of. It's all taken care of. I got all the dental work done, and I'm glad I did now. I feel a lot better. I was getting sometimes a fever at night from the infection. And
It can get
you
in your
know,
blood.
Mr. X, how you said they pulled part of it out. Well, I got part of the tooth out, but the unfortunate part was the part I didn't get out was under the skin, and it grew back over and was causing an infection that way.
Yep.
Yeah, I tell you this.
But it's all
I had
taken
mine.
care of now,
And now
and
you're
I have a
looking
little
great.
trouble. Yeah, and I do have
Did
a
you
little
do a
trouble
bone
talking
graft
a
on
little
top
bit.
of that? Or
No,
no?
I was fine. I had lots of bone mass still.
Okay.
Just
Because
an
when I
infection
did
on the
mine,
jawbone.
they do a little bone graft because it's the back that they take out, and then I had it done. I was like, oh, it's a little fucked up, and then I walk outside, and this is in Santa Monica off Wilshire, so it's a nicer area. That's probably why it cost as much as it did. And I saw Tony Todd. Oh, hey, Candyman! The guy who played Candyman. I saw him there.
Yeah.
Oh, I book you.
Jim, the day I had that done, I sent you that picture of the house that we have in Salt Lake. The car sitting in the driveway with the snow up at the windows almost. That was the day I had all this done. Actually, a truck came by, and he
I saw
ran
that
the
photo.
neighborhood a few times. Yeah, he ran the neighborhood a few times. I shoveled out the front, and my car went right out, and I went to the dentist and had it all done that day.
Did
And I
you?
was actually kind of angry because I didn't think I was going to get out, and I was scared I was going to chicken out doing it again.
Did they
But
put
I
you
did it.
under?
No. Shots and went for it.
That
You could do laughing gas too, Jim.
That happened to me when I was pregnant. I didn't realize all my wisdom teeth were compacting and breaking all my other teeth. That's why I have this one jacked up missing one.
Where do you have a missing? I've never
yeah.
seen it.
There.
Oh, never saw that. Never noticed that.
I wear, but I wear it with pride because it's not of meth. It's because of wisdom teeth compacting, and I had to get all of those and the molars next to it because they
You
were
can't see
breaking
it.
apart while I was pregnant in the middle of chemo.
Hold on,
Jim.
Miss T. I'll be right back. I'll be right
Okay,
back.
thank you,
Hold
Ty.
on a second.
And this
I'll be
one
right
was
back.
cracked at the same time, and he goes, I really want to save it. At this point, I was just too exhausted. And I go, just pull it. I don't want to fight anymore because I was going through some major chemo, and I was about 20. It was about a week and a half before I had the boys. So I was about 27, 28 weeks pregnant with the twins.
You can't tell though. I've never noticed that you were missing the chiclet.
Yep.
I never noticed either.
Yeah.
You know what would have been great, Jim? If Ty would have came back and had a fucking full grill of gold teeth. That's what he should have done. I'd almost chipped in for that.
Yeah.
Well, we
Fucking
can
all
get those.
gold.
We
Platinum.
can get those and wear them on live one day. Have everybody wearing our grills.
Platinum fucking grill. Fucking says Montello. His teeth fob on his teeth.
I don't know if I wanted to mention the user's name, but thank you for the $25 Cash App.
Who? Tennessee Gambler?
No, he sent $5.
Yeah, I got some coming in on mine. I'll be reading it as soon as I stop. I'm driving.
But
I want to say thank you to Tennessee Gambler for coming in on the 5. Thank you so much.
Tennessee Gambler's he's amazing. So then Of course, we've got this big one from JD. Gotta love JD. Thank you, JD, again. Really appreciate it.
Is that a man?
It's a sir.
Good, that's good to hear. Fucking man, he's homeless here.
And then $4.99 from Obed Rivera. Thank you so much. My
I know her, yeah.
coming in. Real quick fix. That Polly. Benny B becoming a new member. Thank you, Benny B. Greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Miss Texas always coming in with $10 super sticker. Ava becoming a new member as well. Thank you
Wow,
so
you're
much.
crushing.
And Keister It, I love your avatar. Keep it rocking. Thank you for your $4.99. And we are going to go ghost hunting. I have got this plan where Tennessee Gambler wants to go.
What?
Desiree Parker wants to go. Betty Hayward wants to go.
God.
We're going to make it happen.
You guys should dress like Ghostbusters.
That sounds
You know,
like a
one
deal.
thing funny about this, Jim, is all the shit that Salty gave about Miss T's channel here.
Yeah.
I'll bet you she made more money tonight than he did.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially me on. Nobody was giving super stickers or super chats when I was on. I mean, it was dry over that motherfucker.
Could you see the chat when
Steve,
you were
did you
on
get
by
a-
chance?
What's that,
Yeah.
Ty? Say
Did
that
you see
again,
the
Ty?
chat while you were on Salty's
A
channel?
little bit, and most of them were haters. I was trying to fix the phone and get that audio played. Why? What was being said? There was a lot of haters, and there was some on my side.
Yeah, who is that woman on his channel?
Which one?
Oh, the one
Shackley.
that was given. Say her name again.
Oh, there's Shackley was on there, and then there's another
No.
lady, Kaylee.
Talking about folks
That one, Kaylee.
She just hates
What?
me. Some white trash from Central Florida.
What an idiot that one is.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's an
One of the things she said is, "Oh, isn't that suspect that he was there when the phone was found?" No. I mean, and I don't get it. And even after all of this, like you said, when you should have asked Salty who he thought murdered Jalen Rounds. You should have asked him. I would have wanted to hear his answer.
Yeah, he does owe you an apology. I said that the other day. I'm talking about
He's not
Salty
gonna
owes
do
you an apology, no question, because he said that you were part of it and this and that. I mean, that's what they say, Jim. Just like the indictment for you and the Troll Mafia in November, and you were going to get. They said Ty Corbin was part of this, and he was going to get arrested too. That's what Salty said. So that's not true. So is he going to take that back and say apologize now? No.
They
Fuck
won't.
that guy.
Mr. X, they won't take any of it back. And like I said, they'll run their dick beaters from afar on the keyboard and act like they're really badass and everything. But if it comes to standing right in front of you, they never will. And I
Right.
tend to
Well-
agree with you about all of them. Ranger, all of them are a bunch of fucking pussies.
I have a
That's what
feeling
they do.
Ruben
And I
Sanchez
could
was
give a
saying that
shit-
about
I
me.
could give a shit if he's a veteran. For him to take sides with an idiot like that, I tend to agree with what you said. If that was what was in our army, fuck, God help us.
Right. I'd rather have
And there's
Watcher
no way,
crazy
there's
next
no
to me.
way he was ever a Ranger. I can guarantee you that. I'm a
No.
military brat. I know that.
Ranger is the Bella V of Salty's show. That's all he is.
How can I put this? He fires them all. They get in their big argument and everything. Then they go back and kiss his ass. It's hilarious to me. Like, boy, King Salty, I guess. They can keep licking the urinal cakes and see where it gets them. I call it the trailer park now, Jim. You just can't fix stupid. And I live in a trailer. I can say that.
Right.
Jim, real quick. I'm acting like this is your show. Tennessee Gambler coming in. Mr. X. You and Jim's entertainment. Thank you, Tennessee Gambler. That's a cash app. Stiffy came in 2 times on different days. Thank you, Stiffy, with a little cat. And Dana Nicole, she wanted my email address. This is a couple days ago for a gift. She sent me. I sent it to her, and I never heard from her since. I guess I'll find out sooner or later.
Miss T, do you find yourself being a doggy door all day long, opening and closing the door for the dogs? Come on. Go on out. And that's another thing, Jim, that I'd like you to know. Everything that I said about the animals at Lance's was true, and people just can't figure it out. I mean, they don't remember the old channel of the Last Chance Farm or whatever it was called, of the dogs being on short chains, jumping up and down in the sunshine with no real shelter. And the mere fact that when you asked to see his dog and he had to go outside and get it, it was single digits those nights. And anyone that thinks a hole in the ground,
that's sad.
if there's 65, you need your head examined. If you go in one of those mines, if you go in one of the mine shafts and you go in about 100 feet, 200 feet, it'll be that temperature, but not a hole in the ground that the dogs live in. And that really angers me. And people say, well, why didn't you call sooner? I'll tell you why. Jim, you remember the lady from NC that had the New York accent? And I'm not going to say her name or anything because I happen to like her, even though I was angry at her. She promised me that she would rehome all of those dogs, all of them. And someone that'll pay for someone to get a cadaver dog after he has to rehome 20 of his own dogs, you need your head examined. Just that mere fact alone. And I don't think anyone's going to sell him one, Jim. I really don't. If you own cadaver dogs and he showed up to buy one, would you sell him?
No.
If you did, it wouldn't be a good one.
No, I mean, listen, I asked him to bring those dogs in. I mean, I give everybody a chance on my show. It's content, right? I mean, that's what it is. Because I wanted you to come on. I went back and forth, and I'll tell you what, Ty, he hung himself on my show. He never really went on any other shows after that. He didn't get any traction, and my audience is smart. They can see through the bullshit.
I believe that too, yeah. He had a show kind of like Salty's today, accusing me of stalking him, and I haven't seen him in months. Have I gone on his channel's comments and called him out on things? You damn right I have, because like I told you today, I'm sick of seeing these guys that never leave, or that they're doing it under false pretenses and think that they're helping. Like, he's not only Dylan Rounds now, he's covering every murder. He's trying to do like the rest of the channels now. And he's really making quite the fool of himself. And Jim, I promise you this much. On my YouTube channels that have to do with searching, I'll never ask for a dime from anyone. I won't do that. I'm doing it because I feel it's the right thing to do. And if we ever locate Dylan, or someone ever locates Dylan, I agree with you. Aiden Clune needs to be found, and he's probably an easier find than Dylan ever will be. I don't know. But common sense would tell you that. It's two separate circumstances. And I just believe what you said about that.
There is so much.
Yeah. And I don't know all the circumstances in the Aiden Clune one. But one thing I do have is access to the road crews that are out there in Curry that saw him last, that saw where his truck was at. And I have access to a few sheriffs that I can ask for the GPS coordinates of the last place they lost his tracks. And will I do that later on in the future? Yes, I'm sure I will, because I have weekends where I have nothing to do, and I try to devote some of those weekends to doing that. And as I can afford to do it and I will. So, and the side-by-side, Jim, I've never really needed one. I bought my old Toyota pickup truck back, and I'm going to fix it up, and it'll be a better side-by-side than any of those things. So,
don't you think Jim Brenner's going to eventually just say where the body is?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. I think when he realizes he's getting the needle, because that's what they do in Utah, they offer you the needle or the firing squad. When he realizes that's what's going to happen, I think he'll cough it up, and I think it's very important to find him beforehand if possible, because that way they don't have to deal with the devil. Then I honestly think this, you guys, I think that he's killed other people, and I think he'll cough that up to try and avoid the death penalty. And if you look at all the times he's been caught trying to do it and now caught actually doing it, that tells me he's done this before. Usually a criminal doesn't get caught. They let's say guys robbing liquor stores, they get caught like the 10th, 12th time they do it. So imagine how many times they've done it and got away. And I feel the same way about Brenner, especially with the way he went to Don Hatley's and Nate right afterwards. And people like Kurt, they're too stupid to see that. And I don't know, Jim. I don't know if it's the alcohol or whether he's involved. I don't know. And I'm not going to pretend I do, but I think even you would agree that he's said and done a lot of things that would really make you think. And I haven't lied about anything I've said about him. Those people say that, but you know, they can believe what they want. I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Hey,
And
listen,
Jim, I'm to the point where I don't care what any of them say about me anymore. Everything they can say has been said. And none of it's true. Did I shoot at a man out on the Gamble Ranch Road a few years ago? You goddamn right I did. And if someone was trying to harm your family and had shot at the house you were in, you do the same thing. And the only reason I didn't shoot to kill was because I knew he was smashed ass drunk. And I went to jail for 31 days because of it.
we have
The judge
had
sorted it out. Yeah, the
we
judge
have
sorted
had
it out.
if you look on these shows, we have had so many people shoot people. Just, I mean, think about it. Ty Corbin shot somebody, right?
No, I didn't shoot him. No, I did not shoot him.
Oh, I
put
thought
a
you
warning
shot.
shot. No, I put a warning shot by him. Another false lie. Put
Okay,
a warning shot by him. Told him
misunderstood.
to
Okay.
go home. Told him to go home, or the next one would be through and through, and he did. And that's all on the 911 recording, Jim. The operator was on the phone when the whole thing happened, and it was videoed. And when the
Then
judge saw the video, he
Ron,
released me.
did Ron Tello shoot somebody?
Yes, in the foot.
Okay, right. Watcher of Crazy, she shot somebody.
Yeah.
With all due respect on Ron Tello,
Yeah.
he's can't protect himself or anything, Jim. And he complained and complained and complained to the sheriffs about what these guys were doing. And one of the lieutenants looked right at him, the one that was before the lieutenant we have now, and he said, well, if you got to shoot him in the foot. And that's exactly what he did. And he went to jail for a year for it till they sorted it out. And they let him out. He went to court and they let him out for time served. But he did exactly what the lieutenant told him to do. Well, if you got to shoot him in the foot. And actually, I don't think he was even really trying to shoot the guy in the foot. I think he was just doing warning shots, and one of them happened to hit him.
You know what's crazy, Jim?
And he suffered a year in jail. He suffered a year in jail over that.
All these
And
people
could
that
have
are like
faced more time.
they're like regular citizens, and they have shot more people than Ranger that we know of Ranger has, and he was allegedly in the military. I mean, I think I'd rather have Ron Tello on my side.
At least you know he's willing to shoot.
And I know his past. I know a little something about him, you know.
And Mr. X, I can honestly say this, when that happened, I did everything possible not to shoot that man. Had he pointed that rifle at us again, because when I put the shot by his head and told him to go home, he was trying to reload his rifle to shoot again at the house we were in. And anybody in their right mind would have done what I done. And the cops that took me to jail, I outright called them out on it. I said, had he done that to you guys, you would have unloaded your clips on him. I said, had he done exactly to you what he did to me, you would have killed him. Oh no, we're peace officers. Fuck you. And I was angry about going to jail that night. I can say that. Still angry about it. Had the cop just watched the video that was taken of the whole thing, I never would have gone to jail that night. But he only watched about 5 seconds of it and took me to jail. He said 1001, 1002. He handed it back to the lady that took the video. So a lot of things that were lies. I never shot anyone.
If you
put
look,
a warning shot, I went to jail for putting a warning shot by him.
who called the 911 call? Because there's a list of 911 calls in your neck of the woods. They're all public record.
Yeah. A lady named, what was her name? Carol? Yeah, Cheryl.
Okay,
One of Phyllis's friends.
I have Ty Corbin's 911 call.
Okay.
I
Play
do.
it, Jim. People will see. They'll see the truth. They'll see
I mean,
that I warned the guy.
It's a little
they'll
different
see-
than what you're saying. I just listened to it. I mean,
fuck you.
do you want us to play it, Miss T? It's up to you. What was the date?
I don't care.
What was the date on the 911 call, Ty?
Oh, I'm guessing about 5 years ago, Jim.
Yeah, I was
It
going to
would
say
have been-
2018.
It would
Yeah,
have been yeah.
they spelled your name wrong. I'll play it if you want to hear it. Let me know if you can hear this. Here we go. Ready?
Is it the real one or is this phony?
Yeah. No, it's here.
Yeah.
911, what are you reporting? With someone or something going around out here. Do you see what it was?
Can you guys hear that or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A person or an animal or? I can't tell. All I know is my central light came on and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard. A good sized man. Or something that looks like a man. I don't know if it was. Just it ran across the yard. I was killed. I don't know what it, whatever it is, just running. Couldn't catch it. If I was going to chase it or whatever it was, it came out. I'm out here, come through the window now, and I don't see anything. I don't want to go outside. Jesus Christ, you better. Tia! Hello? Get somebody out there. What's going on now, sir? That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know. You see him now, sir? Yes, I'm on You see your yard, sir? Yeah, God, he's big. Okay, what's he say your yard? He's looking big. The guy is on foot. I don't know what, is he big? Real big person, that's all I can say. Okay, it is a person. Is he a black male or a white male? Did you actually see what or was he just very black? He's all black and big. Jesus, big.
There it is. Ty Corbin catching Bigfoot running through his fucking front yard.
Beats the hell out of being called a murderer or a meth dealer.
There's black people out there?
So here's the deal. That call is a famous call where there was a. Do you know that call, Guidance?
No.
Jim,
So
that guy does sound like me, though, doesn't
Yeah.
he?
I thought it was him at first, Jim.
Good spoof.
Jim,
Good spoof.
Yes.
just to deflect for 1 second, Miss T, I'm going to call the lighthouse about personal use. We all need to get together and see if we can maybe have 2 days together. I'll let you know what they say about the prices in the next few days. So Tennessee Gamblers on our bucket list for all of us.
What's the lighthouse?
St. Augustine Lighthouse.
Well, I didn't know there was a lighthouse. So here's how this is going to work. I know Tennessee Gambler a little bit, and you guys are going to be taking this real serious. And he's going to go, I know his voice. He's going to have the sunglasses on, the hat, University. And he's going to go, I got an idea. I'll run up to the top of the lighthouse just to make sure that nothing's up there. You guys follow me with the camera.
That's where the apparitions show, is at the top of that lighthouse. That's where the most activity is.
Here, get real close, Jim. Get real close. Here, Miss T. Get real close to this hole. Here, put your...
Oh, and I was also going to put a formal invitation for Watcher of Crazy to join too. Me and Proud Mimi agreed on that one.
So what'll happen is you guys will run up and he'll be like, oh my God, there's a fucking orb. There's an orb. And you guys will run up the lighthouse. You'll get up there. And just as you open the fucking door, he'll be totally nude with his prick in his hand. That's how he is.
Now Watcher of Crazy is really going to show up.
Yeah. Miss T, look what the ghost did to me. He stripped me naked.
He's actually really serious about ghost hunting. We've had many talks about this.
Ghost slimed me. There's slime all over me.
Look at the ghost. He slimed me under my penis.
He's one of the few that have Miss T's worm line.
Yeah. Hey, Betty Hayward, come here for a second. I think I see something in this dark room.
Why does the slime smell like salt and bleach?
Right here, look, Miss T. The ghost hit the wall right here, right about my belt level.
I'd have to say I'd sleep in any graveyard. Wouldn't bother me a bit. The ones that they say, oh, they're haunted, this and that.
Okay, so the equipment is not that expensive. Once I get enough to purchase it, the basic ones, so then you can actually see it. It's $189 on my wish list. So once I get that in the Cash App, I'm ordering it. He's going to reserve it, and we're going to have content for you. And I think the characters and our personalities will make it golden on top of your personalities, gentlemen. You're quiet.
I'm talking to somebody. You know what I was going to ask you, Miss T? Not to change gears too much. When I started Jim Terry TV 2 and it got monetized, this is mid-December. I got so much shit. You're not going to do a membership, are you? Now, I understand it has Jim's name on it. It doesn't say Mr. X TV. You're going to have 2 now? I got so much shit. Now, I've never done it because I was like, how much more can I do? Then I'm going to have to do Jim's and mine. So, I never did it. So did you catch any hell for any of that, for doing that? I mean, I don't have obviously doing psychic stuff or anything like that.
Hell for what? Memberships or go?
Yeah, have anybody caught you like, hey, you've been monetized for a month and you're doing memberships already? Like I was getting hell right off the bat. Like, and I never even did it.
Well, no. Everybody signed up and was gifting them right away as soon as I announced it. And I'm very thankful for it. But also, I've had this channel for well over a year too. So I think I've got content I can give. And our Freaky Sultry Fridays will be on members only. I've already mentioned that. Some of my spirit boxes will be on that instead of the main cases. And then I was also going to do readings for my highest tier. And if you didn't want a reading, I was going to do giveaways or merch, or where I do graphic design. You see my work, what I've done, and what I create.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I didn't really. I guess I was just looking at it because I just caught hell, and you actually have services that you're offering above and beyond. So that makes sense. I mean, you can't get somebody to do a reading for what you're talking about. So what I was going to start offering was
I charge for 20 for 15 minutes, let alone membership and including the perks.
I guess I just looked at it like creating content because I never really thought about a service. Although Jim did mention doing that, and I kind of told him I don't know if that's the best idea, but his is a different thing. But anyway, I understand.
Yeah. And I'll be doing giveaways and not raffles or anything like that. But every once in a while, I'll be putting giveaways and doing certain things. And also the top tier will get you to Discord. I did have Discord open to everybody, but then one of my biggest fans got access into there and started blasting everybody in there. So
let me get this straight. Tennessee Gambler is gonna give me the ghost hunters again. Give me your roster.
Watcher of Crazy.
Okay, she's from Houston, Texas.
Yep, and she's gonna be grabbing some ghost ass.
Kind of.
Tennessee Gambler.
Who is from
Pikeville, Kentucky. Some beans on those ghosts.
Okay.
Why you always get quiet when I talk about?
I believe he could do it because he's probably got his own fucking airplane he'll fly down.
He's already done it. Where he lives is extremely haunted. Where I stayed, where that 5-year-old was missing, is exactly where he lives. That place has a lot of shit going on, and he's experienced some stuff personally. And Miss Desiree Parker and Betty Hayward. That would be our ghost hunting team. I think that's one hell of a team and entertainment.
Yeah, I like Betty Hayward.
How are these people, like Desiree Parker's going to come on camera?
No, but she can be there to talk.
So how do they do it if they're not on camera? You're going to have a camera in a ghost room. How do they stay off the camera?
She'll be videotaping in front of her, not her face.
I don't want to sound like a dick, but I think, and this is just me, and maybe it's a bad idea, but I think what you should do is invite one guest to come, but like you can only pick people that are from the $24.99 tier.
I think you, Jim.
I don't know. I think I would be scared.
That would choose make it even fucking better.
I mean, Miss T, here's how I would start it because she's the closest. It would be Betty Hayward because when I was in Florida, I actually already ran a pilot of this. Yeah, Betty Hayward showed up at my hotel room and started playing with my 2 orbs.
Oh, Arkansas, you're welcome to come, girl.
Miss T, I'll be right back. Yeah. I got to wake Phyllis up. We got to pack some stuff for Arizona tomorrow, but I just got to wake her up. I'll be right back. Hold on a minute.
I've been savoring that bit for about 5 minutes.
Equalizer 2 if he's interested in it.
Yeah, I don't think I could. Are you going to go during the day or at night?
It would be a nighttime thing.
Oh, fuck. I go to bed at night.
You don't go ghost hunting during the day.
I would be
And
scared.
then I'll pull out all my spirit boxes and tarot cards and start really throwing some shit like crazy.
I want to say thank you to Arkansas coming in on the Mr. X Cash App. Arkansas, that's somebody you should get out there. That's a lady who wants to travel, has been looking to travel, and a nice lady too.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Keisterit, for some shekels for ghost hunting. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cut and Shoot, for some shekels. Thank you very much. That was very kind of you. Thank you for the Cash App. Now, Henry Dog, thank you for joining as a new member. I very much appreciate it. Thank you so much. I am just overwhelmed by all of the love. I really am. I really am. Judy Akers, also with a $5 super sticker. And I love that puppers. Look at that little nose and the little paws just chilling. So cute. Thank you so much, y'all. I really, really appreciate it.
Got another pitch for you. I mean, I pitch Jim ideas all the time, so we could just do this on air right now. But I think Lacey H probably has some ghosts around there. So I would probably choose her. Hey, Lacey H, you got something in this shack in the back. We need to go check that out together. Wear a tank top.
Her haunted is that trailer.
Something terrifying in that trailer. Here, I'm just going to turn the hose on. That scares away the ghosts. Oh, sorry, got you wet.
I've got a guest speaker calling in.
The worm line.
Worm line.
Hey.
You're on speaker.
All right, that's good. Hey, Mr. X, you could sell this for us.
Sell what?
This ghost hunt. Well, we could be the next ghost hunters, ghost adventures, and we could blow them completely out of the damn water.
And
I have never sold a reality show. Never have dabbled into it. I mean, I obviously know a little bit about it, but it's not something I know a ton about as far as how you approach that versus how you would do a book or an independent film or whatever. I know more about television, but specifically reality television, I don't know a lot about it. I'm sure it's not that much different.
We could give you the footage we have, and this place, and Miss T's seen it. This was Jesus, I can't remember when Ghost Hunters was down there, but maybe 10, 12 years ago, this place was legit. As they were looking up through where the light was, there's a black mass that looks like it looks over the top of the handrail and then actually goes up. After it looks over, it goes up 3 floors to it. So I'm going to call them and see, and we need to figure out who all wants to go. But I'll call them and get a price, and then we can figure out what time we need to go because I don't know what the scheduling is going to be like. But because ever since I saw that on Ghost Hunters, it's just completely unreal.
Jim, what's that? What happened to your hand? Smell my fingers. I was in this room with these ghosts. Smell my fingers. What is that? I fingered Betty in that room.
Gosh, Jim, you're a handsome man now.
That's
I didn't know you were that handsome. I put my glasses on, and man, you're a handsome man.
Look at Ty Corbin. Looks like Tom Brady. I swear to God.
Let me see the teeth.
Yeah, he looks young.
What was that show? Remember when they would have those women on and their husbands would be gone, overseas fighting, and they get all every girl that came on got those Da Vinci veneers. Do y'all remember that?
I don't think he has veneers. What do you have, Ty? Are they his dentures or what are they?
What was it, Black Swan or something?
Yeah, Ty's teeth look good.
Yeah.
I don't remember Ty's teeth being bad, though. Maybe I just never noticed.
I never thought they looked bad.
Jim.
Look at his teeth.
Hold on.
Smile real big.
Hold on.
Smile real big.
Come on. Outside.
That's always good. Smile real big for me. Like you're about to get an Olin Mills glamour shot.
Ty is like, I don't know if Ty just looks like a better version of Ty Corbin or if he's like a hot older chick.
Well, don't forget Ty.
But
When we
do
were
you
seeing
all
Ty at
remember
first, he was
that
in the.
show where those girls would get like these massive makeovers, and then their husbands would come back and they'd be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that's even my wife."
No, I
Wasn't it called like Black Swan or something?
Yeah, there was a show like that. Yeah, he's got some Bruce Jenner teeth now. Hold on, okay. So here's Bruce Jenner. Hold on.
He didn't shave his Adam's apple, did he?
Yeah.
No, he still got it.
Okay, thank God. Good job, Ty. No, but hey, that's all I was going to say, Miss T. I'll let y'all go.
Thank you, Tennessee.
Thanks for the Cash App. Thank you.
Thank you.
The important part, Jim, is it's done.
No, I mean, it really look good.
Yeah.
It's totally changed your look.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Look really good.
But you did something else is different too, though.
Well, this is what I was saying before Tennessee Gambler cut me off. When we were first seeing Ty, he was out in the sun a lot because they were searching over the summer.
Well, and my hair was a lot shorter.
Yeah, his hair was shorter, and they were real tanned up from searching.
Everyone's saying you're looking like a stud, Ty.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm going to turn the camera.
Sun will make you look leathery. Fuck.
Looking younger.
I'll be 61 this month.
No way.
Yes.
You're staying out there more than most of the 30-year-olds.
61, the perfect age to start medical school, like Sleeper Cell.
The perfect age to stay retired.
Well, you start your undergrad at age 55. You get your, become a doctor at like 62, and then you get like 6 weeks to practice medicine, and you retire.
Okay, so everybody's all right, Ty. Is there any way you could go live, Ty? Here's Bruce Jenner right before the transformation. I'm not really. Look, Ty won't come on camera now because it looks just like him.
That's got great hair.
Yeah, Ty Jenner. There's Ty Jenner. Look.
No, he don't look like me.
Oh, same jaw. Look at this. Holy fuck. You got to grow the back. Oh, my God. You got to take the glasses off.
Okay, here.
Now smile like he is. Get close to the camera and smile like Bruce.
Smile like that.
Now ask me to sign a $100,000 NDA to work on your project.
They're asking if you're the naked cowboy.
No.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, he does look a little bit like that guy. That guy's a little smaller. Than Ty's pretty tall.
He comes here and hangs downtown during the winter.
So what sports did you play, Mr. X, in high school?
Football and basketball.
Yeah, me, football, basketball, and we didn't have a baseball team at the high school, but I played American League.
What high school did you go to, Ty? Where, in Alaska?
Yeah.
Is that
I'm
where
not going to say, Jim, because I don't want people calling around and digging this and that.
We were going to do that. We were going to find your high school photo.
I can do that for it and send it to you.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Well, there'll be some high school photos being put out tomorrow, Jim. If you know what I mean.
Went to high school in Alaska, a small school compared to the schools nowadays. About 600 kids in the high school.
Give me 1 second.
Our high school here, Jim, the boys team, our boys baseball team, we have snow. We have 3 foot of snow on the ground here, but they went down to Vegas. They've been practicing in the gym. They went down to Vegas and went 2-0 in that tournament, and then to Laughlin and won 2 more. So as far as I know, they're 4-0.
What's the name of the high school in your area? What is the high school that's doing good?
Wells High School.
Wells.
Hey, Leopards, yeah.
Hey, Miss T, are you there? Miss T?
She's
yeah,
mute.
I was just helping Jack get off the bed because he's starting to get mouthy.
Who blocked? Who's Marshmallow? What did they get blocked for? I'm just curious.
He said, "Jay, I'm coming for you."
Who's Jay?
And it was the same name as I blocked before.
It was
Talking shit.
Jay. I'm coming for you, meaning me.
I'm assuming so.
Oh,
If not,
Jay,
send me
why?
an email and say why. Yeah, I just wrote J-Y.
Yeah. They always do that from a distance, Jim. They never show right up in
Thank
front.
you.
J-A-Y or Jay like Jim Terry? I'm coming for you. What are you talking about?
J-A-Y. Let me find it. Here, I'll show you.
Who the hell's Jay?
Oh. You never
I
know.
heard Ty. I heard
Whatever
Ruben Sanchez the other day talking on sloths. Was he talking about me? Because he was saying that about me, that I'm I'm hiding and this and that, and I won't come in person. I don't have a problem with that guy, but I will drive through there at some point. Next time I drive through Victorville, here I'll make this promise right now. I will stop on the freeway and I will get a picture of me by the Bear Valley Road exit. That's number one. That's for Doug. Number two, I'm going to get off on Bear Valley Road.
Mr. X, I don't think there's any problems there. Those guys are pretty mellow. They're not about wanting to have any
But it sounded
problems.
like he was talking about only me because I responded to his response.
Yeah,
I didn't say anything that was false. I didn't say anything that was mean or disrespectful. I just said this guy. I spent a lot of time on the phone with this guy.
I think that kind of fighting and everything wants to come to an end. With the guys that called me what they did and did what they did, I could honestly say, Mr. X, one of the things you said kind of made me say, okay, I don't mind engaging them now. I don't mind hitting back because I know what the truth is. And they wouldn't know what the truth was if it hit them in the ass.
Well, the only reason I guess the thing that upset me is his friend laying the pipe, who Jim seems to think is his boyfriend. If it is or it isn't, that's fine. But laying the pipe was kind of digging into me on the comments section on Jim Terry TV2, and I just asked a simple question: if you know Ruben Sanchez in person and you're his real life friend, then why weren't you taking his hour or 2 hour long calls when he was going through depression or anxiety or whatever the fuck he was going through? Like, I didn't mind helping, and I'm not making fun of the guy, but like, if this person knew him in real life, why wasn't he doing it? Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with helping people through stuff like that. That just shows that you're a human being. That's all.
Yeah, and I remember this guy
I like
saying
all
things
those
to me.
guys. You guys, I like all those guys, and I'm not going to talk bad about them at all.
And I'm not asking you to. It's just like I have a feeling they were talking about me, and what I'm saying is this: I've never hid from anybody, and I'm not looking for a fight either. But I'll be happy to go live when I go to Bear Valley Road, if and when I go out to Vegas at the end of the month. I'll go live from Bear Valley Road for 20 minutes, and I don't think anybody will show up there. I'm not looking for a fight. I can almost
promise you with certainty that nobody over there is looking for a fight. So I don't think that's going on. Yeah.
But I do know that Sloth is calling around people asking about us. I mean, I've heard the report. I mean, I've heard.
Well, Mr. X and Jim, he really liked you guys. He really looked up to you. And regardless of what happened in any of that stuff, I like Johnny. I think he has a good heart, and I think you guys know he has a good heart. He's Johnny. And that's part of the reason why people like him. He doesn't know everything. He's not the greatest at this. He's not the greatest at that, but he's trying, and he's doing a lot better than he was a couple years ago. So I'm going to be nice to him, and I'm just not going to be that way. He definitely, I don't think he has a malicious heart like some of the other ones that I've seen.
I think the guy that he's living with does.
I agree with that,
Jim. I just think that they're protective of one another. That's what I think.
Hey, Marshmallow, I see you back in the chat. If you want to come out to Victorville, go ahead. I can meet you. You could be waiting for Mr. X. That's fine. You come to Playa Vista if you're Doug. Or see, here's the thing. Like I'll meet anybody at any time in my area. I'm not going to drive to you, but if you like, I'll go live in Century City if you want to do it there. But I'm not going to go fucking to Kentucky. I mean, are you kidding me?
I would have to say,
I don't think that's going to happen.
X, like with people like Salty and Doug, Salty and even Doug, Kurt, I almost laugh at them because it's funny to me. If they stood in front of me, it would be like a one-punch thing. I know that for a fact, especially with Kurt. He's 5 foot nothing, and he kind of reminds me of Yosemite Sam when he's mad. But
I saw video. There's a video out there of his wrestling matches. Have you seen that yet, Mr. X? His actually pro wrestling matches.
And you're right, Texas Danny. I was done dirty. Yeah, I saw the match. I mean, it's it's an independent match. I mean, he was actually probably the best of that match of those guys in the ring. I'm talking about Doug, but you could see the bitch tits were already growing. I mean, that's what I'm just saying what I saw, but but he was actually in the best shape of those guys.
He
But
might
I
have
mean,
been wearing a training bra.
he might, but that's the thing that I kind of always look at the person who's performer. It's to go up there basically in underwear and wrestle in front of 15 people. People can make fun of that and say you didn't make it to WWE, but I look at it differently. Like I think that takes some guts.
Yeah.
Now he didn't ride it out. I said that's the first thing I ever said about Doug. I said I think that there could be some talent in that man because he's at least attempted that. That I think that shows guts. But his own brain is his own worst enemy. He gets in his own way. If he would have stuck it out, he could have been like a little something in that.
Yeah.
Probably.
I can guarantee you this much, X. He's not as tough as he thinks he is.
Well, you don't need to be tough to be a pro wrestler.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But, I mean, there's a lot of shows that have, that recently needed pro wrestlers. Look at Glow. Look at that other one with the kid from with Arrow and all that kind of stuff. I mean,
yeah, but there's a difference between that kind of wrestling and let's say Olympic wrestling. Different.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I love professional wrestling.
One of them's not. Yeah.
Yeah, and
he's guys that have wrestling skills, especially like in the MMA, the guys that have good wrestling skills and jiu-jitsu skills, you can tell. You can tell. And usually a fight like that's going to end up on the ground anyway. If he's halfway, if he's halfway as competitive as you are, you're going to end up on the ground. None of those guys really scare me because I would even hand the old lady the pistol and say, if I start losing, shoot me.
Wow. Did anybody go on Tron's show earlier tonight?
No. I got a little skeeved out when you said he was sniffing around for cash. Then I found out.
Well, not real. I mean, what I said was he was trying to do a GoFundMe.
Well, then and I don't want to be a channel or, I mean, I don't mind helping people out here and there, but I mean, yeah, he's got whoever that is with him, I don't think that their cause is that great.
I just told him in a very nice way. For those who don't know, he contacted me and he's like, I got an idea. Somebody set me up a GoFundMe. I'm trying to get a graphics card. And I was like, listen, every time somebody comes on,
a friend of his a
friend of his set it up for him. And I said, I just don't think that every time you come on, you got to be thinking about the audience first, not what the audience can give you. And you can't come on here. And so I said, that's why I won't promote that, because you got to be thinking about how you can give them something. And then look at it like this. If you're a bartender, the drinks are, on the house. The drinks are open, but there's a tip jar there. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but if you come out there and say, hey, listen, you got to buy the package up front or donate the package before I've even entertained you, everybody say, fuck that. I'm going to go somewhere else. That's how I feel about it. I don't like that. I don't like when filmmakers do GoFundMe or India Go, because it shows they don't have a pot to piss in. I just don't like it. It leaves a real bad taste in my mouth. Yes, he had a GoFundMe.
Oh, hey, Jim. Jim, are you still there? Must have had a bathroom.
Yeah,
I got to go take a piss. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I can answer any question for you, him.
One of the questions I wanted to ask him was actually about Aiden Clune.
Oh,
I talked to a sheriff about him, and the sheriff told me that they had tracked him like 18 land miles before they lost his trail.
I know that the Jim Terry, you ever done that thing where they have like a phone call and it has like 5 different, like things you can click? And it'd be like Christopher Walken's voice. I could do that like kind of for Jim. He's gay militia.
I guess my question for him was, Phyllis asked me, are we going to look for Aiden Clune when we go through Vegas with the homeless community? Just look around.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, no, we're vacationing. We're not going to do that. But I was wondering if he felt there was a chance that boy might have walked all the way back out to the highway and got picked up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
And I know
when I was 18 or 19, 36 miles, I could have done it, but it would have hurt. Back in those days, I could run 10. and still
The
hurt, but I could do it.
The Vegas homeless community, they've cleaned up a bit, and they've, like, it's not as, obviously LA has grown, except for the area downtown, the Fremont Street, that has grown some, but there's this whole contingent of people living underground in those
Yes.
waterways because it's dry, so somebody could be there and you'd never see them.
Yeah. And I'm not so sure I would want to go wandering down into those anyway.
Fuck that. Now
asking
that's something
around.
that's a documentary. You got
There's a
Not
lot
by
of-
myself, and not by myself anyway, but I would go with a group of people.
There's a shitload of videos out there on YouTube already. There's a guy takes a backpack. He's like a mountain climber or rescue guy, and he walks around the tunnels of Vegas, and he even goes as far as to get under, like, now this video is old, so I think the Sahara was still around, but he actually gets under the parking garages and actually into the hotels. And they have security systems in some of those tunnels when you get near casinos. But there's guys that have done that. What's going on there?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if there's a possibility that could have happened. I think it is. It's very slim.
He's asking about Aiden Clune. Is it possible Aiden Clune could have got picked up, gone to Vegas, and homeless there?
No, and I'm going to tell you why. That kid's dead out there because he was heading into an area, into an abyss, and they tracked him. They found things of him. I
18
think
miles. Yeah. 18 miles off the highway before they lost his.
The 18 miles, though, you could still see the road. So I think that kid's dead out there. I think they'll find him sooner or later. They'll find bones or something.
I agree on that.
I did agree with you on one thing about that, Jim, is he's probably an easier find than Dylan.
Yeah.
There is such a thing. I know
Yeah.
that the Elko County Search and Rescue went out there a few times looking for him, but the last time that I saw an organized search, Dan and I were headed out, and it was at Love's. They were all meeting at Love's, and I think there was 4 vehicles that showed up, and that was it.
Do you think that the reason that Candace Cooley already said for you guys not to search because she already knew way back when, which has been released now? Like,
No, I don't think that a bit. I don't think that anyone knew that until it was released, and I think that the cops started holding evidence for a reason because a certain individual kept opening their mouth about it.
okay.
He's talking about the mutilation of the body. What do you think about that, Ty?
I don't think so. In
Well, I mean,
that
saying
state,
that-
Jim, in that state, merely moving a dead body, even if you murdered him, is still the desecration of a body.
Okay, so
I
you
can only hope that he didn't do something like that.
So Kurt Wadsworth and his family didn't have him at the barbecue.
So from the thing that's going around, Jim, is pigs were fed, and then the pig was fed to the community on the 4th.
There you go. That's where I'm getting at. Yeah.
Yeah, not cannibalism or anything like that. I have heard that rumor too. No, I don't
Wow.
believe that that's true. Anything's possible, but I believe, Jim, what I believe is it's as simple as he's within 10 miles and we've just missed him. And my
Sorry.
personal opinion is around the base of Pigeon Mountain and around the base of Bald Eagle Mountain. And they're both opposite directions. And when I say Bald Eagle Mountain, I'm talking in the Governor Springs area.
Had you ever heard of Jim Brenner before all this?
No, but I'd seen him before. When I saw the pictures of him, I had seen him before. And the place that I saw him was actually at the Montello store. And I remember thinking he was as wide as he was tall. And he kind of had a dead fish look on one side of his face, like he'd had a stroke or something, but it wasn't that. I don't know if he has something wrong with.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, what about the thing he was living in? What was he living in?
I've never been to that property since all this happened, Jim. I couldn't tell
There
you.
was a trailer, though.
I'm
He was
looking-
kind of like
yeah,
in
the
a
same photos that you've seen are the same ones I've seen.
He
I
was living
haven't stepped-
in a. Well, what happens if you go to his old place right now? What's there? Is what I'm
I don't
getting at.
know. And yeah, I don't know, and I'm not going to find out. That property people are supposed to stay off of, and I'm not going to go on it.
Jim Brenner's property.
I don't
I mean,
think
where
it's
he was squatting?
not Brenner's property where the trailer burned. He's talking about where the grain shed is. I've been on that property where Brenner burned many a times. And washes above it, I've been in and out of those for days on end. Same with Les and Scott Nuttall. We searched that for 2 days.
Damn. Is there any kind of
But the arm and the grain shed, I haven't stepped on those at all.
Jim, if this guy gets convicted, let's say Brenner, and can you get less time or anything if you say this is where the body is, this is how it happened? Like, okay, we know he did it in theory, and down the road, could he get less by saying giving up information, like the Dahmer type
the only
shit?
thing less he would get, Mr. X, I think the only thing less he would get is the death penalty taken off the table. And I think he'll play that when it comes to that. I don't think he's as dumb and as feeble as everyone thinks he is. The man rode a horse from New Sind to the Montello Bar. I dare any one of us to do that.
Why? What's wrong with that?
That's 25, 30 miles. Can you do it? I can't.
Oh, no. He rode a horse that far?
Yeah, I can ride a motorcycle that far,
one that
not a fucking horse.
The horse is the one that should get a gold star.
And then back, I know, carrying his ass. Imagine that. So I'm just saying logically, think about it. I don't think he's as feeble, and I think he's underestimated. Everyone's underestimated him. And I think that the most logic thing is he's within 10 miles, and we've just missed him. And I think around Pigeon Mountain or around the base of Bald Eagle Mountain. I don't think up in the mines, and I don't think in the wash. You know, I could be wrong. Anything's possible.
Huh.
No, I want to thank Black Dove for all the work that he's done.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I questioned Shack Lady about that, and she said nobody ever said that on her show, but somebody mentioned it in the chat or something. She said I went back through the show and nobody said that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I want to thank Black Dove for all his hard work.
Yeah. Black Dove's boots on the ground. That guy knows about as much as me. I don't know anything.
You know who
Just know
I'd
there's
like
some
to
kind of
thank for
militia
all their
out there.
hard work is the Box Elder County Sheriffs. That's who I'd like to thank, me personally. I think they did an outstanding job, and I think a lot of people gave them a lot of shit because they wouldn't give the evidence out that they had, and I don't blame them. And the thing that I'm interested to see, Jim, is what weapon he's cleaning in that video. I'm really interested to see what that is. And
I was under the
hate to
impression it
sound
was
morbid
Dylan
like
Rounds.
that.
I'm under the impression it's Dylan Rounds' gun.
Isn't there one
Yeah,
still
well-
missing though? Or was that the one that was missing?
And what I think the golden Cadillac is let's say Dylan hit the record on that phone and was recording himself either farming or doing whatever he was doing or something he was doing at the gate. And it was re-triggered lately by him later by Brenner, meaning Brenner hitting the phone somehow. I think that's a golden Cadillac, and that's justice. I think that's Heavenly Father speaking from above. And people can laugh at that all they want. I don't care.
No, that kid never should have been out there. I don't care what Salty or those people over there say. He never, ever should have been out there alone.
Well,
Never.
Jim, my opinion on that is really the only person responsible is the person that did it. You're not supposed to murder people, plain and simple. I don't care if they're a child. I don't care if they're an old person or a man in their prime. The only person in my book to blame is the motherfucker that did it.
Yeah, but Ty, let me put it to you this way: if I took you and I said, "Here, I want you to babysit this pit bull," and the dog was, it was a wild animal. It had the propensity to bite or kill you, and I'll let that dog stay on your property for 4 years. Am I a little bit culpable, for not looking into the dog, or you not? I mean, Jim. A lot of people seem to think, and run this by me, that Jim Brenner just
wait. Before. When Dylan was out there, Brenner wasn't out there originally. When
Brenner
Dylan
lived on
started
the
that
parents.
farm-
Hold on, Brenner lived on the parents' property.
Yes, but where the farm and everything is at, it's my understanding that when Dylan was working his farm when he originally started, Brenner was living on his property in Nevada, 25 miles away,
Right, but
and
Brenner
didn't get
was
moved out to that area until after Kurt got tired of him living in his house for a year.
right.
And how
but
they
my-
moved him there and what the circumstances were involved, I don't know. But he didn't move out there until after Kurt had kicked him out for being there a year.
The deal here is Jim Brenner is not new, not to anybody in this.
No, I
He-
understand that.
so my point is, the family never went out there to visit the boy. He didn't have security cameras. You saw how he was living. I released those photos. You saw that there was no internet. There was no, and I know I get a lot of people don't have that out there, but I'm telling you what, if you as a parent feel that that was a safe environment for a 17, 18, or 19-year-old boy amongst those people in that area, you need your head examined. I mean, you just, I don't see how that is a good environment for somebody, especially when Ty or Kurt Wadsworth said tonight, Ty, yeah, he stayed with me the last 3 months. He was here over all the time. So he wasn't even staying on that property.
No, he wasn't. I
So
don't
Jim
believe he was
Brenner
staying
was
on
not
that
some new
property.
guy.
I believe he was just farming there, and that's it.
Yeah. Jim Brenner was not some guy that all of a sudden in the last couple of weeks just showed up and then they got into it. He had been around that boy, that family, and those people that Dylan was friends with for years. For years.
Off
Yeah,
and on.
why
Yes,
didn't he?
he had even drove cattle truck for a little while for Justin's company, but didn't
There you
work
go.
out.
I guess
And
Justin
he had a hard on about that too.
Yeah, but I guess they don't do background checks. But I mean, is Jim Brenner the guy that killed Dylan Rounds? 99.99%. Yeah, definitely, if not 100%. You're never going to convince me that they sent him to a good place. And look at how it ended up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Jim, in some fairness, I just get the feeling that Dylan wasn't worldly, that he's probably a little naive.
But
more
don't
of
the
a
parents, Jim, go in
I'll
like
put it this way. Jim. I raised my kids out there, but they knew who the Sharks were, and I didn't allow them to hang out down at the bars and stuff.
yeah, he was living
On
at
the
the
show the other day, Kurt was saying, "Oh, well, my kid hang out with his kids. My kids don't do meth. They never have, and they've never been to prison. None of them, not one of them. And they're all productive young men right now. My youngest is 23, and they're all productive. They all have jobs. None of them have ever been to prison. So, if you look at the different, it is what it is. If Kurt was saying, "Oh, well, my son was sent to me, and you heard about the pirate booty. I was the one that told you what happened."
Yeah.
Remember when the money that was stolen, that he says was money? I think a lot of it was raw gold. But Aaron even told Dustin exactly what he did. And I watched the fight. People say, "Well, how do you know he's gay?" I watched his son kick his fucking ass in the back of the Saddle Sore bar about that issue. Exactly. The money, the him being gay, and him sending money to the Philippines to fucked up people that had mean nothing to him. And that basically the language Aaron used. And back in those days, Aaron wasn't doing meth. He smoked marijuana, but he wasn't doing meth in those days. And the pictures, Jim, that you showed me from Idaho, where the prison or the jail that he's in right now, I can honestly say I was shocked when I saw those. What a difference in how he looks compared to how when in those days he was a good looking kid. I'm just going to say Aaron at one time was a really good looking kid. So when Mr. X says don't do drugs, you fucking A.
That's right. Jim, I always think about with these parents, they look into the college that they send their kids to, and they're like, okay, how safe is the city surrounding it? Is, when they have college age daughters, I guess, are there those buttons on the campus and this and that? So they even look into that when it's a safe place. What is the school ranked, in safety, even beyond education? Because I'm not going to be there as a parent. Ain't nobody around there where Dylan Rounds was at. I mean, I've looked at it on that Google map. I mean, I wouldn't be able to drive into a guy rode on a fucking horse. I don't know if I'd be able to do that drive. Probably get sick.
Now,
That's not nowhere.
Tennessee Gambler has been asking on how is the blood on the gun and himself? Were they arguing or wrestling over the gun?
I have no clue. All we can do is speculate. All they said is they have a video, and we don't even know what gun it is. One thing that I can speculate on, though, let's say it is Dylan's gun. I don't care how well you try to think you're going to clean a gun that might have blood on it. You're not going to get off of it. FBI
Yeah.
lab will find
No,
that in a second.
no.
So it really makes me wonder which gun it is. There was a chrome colored one that Brenner pointed at Robert when he was at Becky's house, and Weezer saw it. You guys have seen Weezer in chat here and there.
Yeah.
She saw it, and I'm wondering if it's that gun.
Where would that gun be at now?
Good question. It's unaccounted for as far as I know.
Missing?
As far as I know, that weapon has never been accounted for, and I don't even know if they're trying to account for it. But Weezer saw it. Robert described it to me, and I'm about 100% sure it happened, and he described it as a large bore chrome-colored pistol. And I said, well, what kind? He goes, I wasn't fucking hanging around to look. I'm running.
They should be looking for that then, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It could be with him,
unless they already know, I don't know. Who knows what they know, but they've kind of exposed their hand now, and I think it's more than enough to convict him if what they say they have is true, and I would find no reason why it wouldn't be.
Right.
What remains now is I really hope Dylan's found, and that way they don't have to deal with that bastard, that they can just give him the death penalty. And maybe if he has done other murders, maybe this will help bring those out too.
What is the death penalty there? Lethal injection?
Lethal injection or firing squad, your choice.
They're just trying to pass the firing squad. It just went through House and now it's going through Senate.
How does that work?
Yeah. Could you go to it? How do you get to it?
Jim, in Utah, they take police officers that are volunteers. And I think there's 6 of them, if I remember right. And only one of them is given a real bullet.
What if he misses?
He don't miss. They hang for the heart. Are you kidding me? Those Utah cops are dead eyes. They're not going to miss. That's one of the best law outfits in the entire country, regardless of what people think.
One bullet would kill him?
From a high-powered rifle, you bet.
I want to see Bob Feller
decapitate him. It did to my uncle. He shot himself in the head with a rifle, and it decapitated him.
You saw it?
Me?
Yeah.
Jim, the rifle I carry, if I was to shoot you with it in the center mass anywhere, you're not going to live.
Okay. I mean, I don't know much about
That's just a 308. If you did live, you'd be very lucky. You're talking a rifle that drops full-grown moose, one shot.
Wow.
I could just imagine then them having something like that. Then all of a sudden, what's that one guy? Duty Ron. Hey, listen, let's push the Cash App. It's public and all that kind of stuff. If we're going to push the Cash App, talk about the membership.
Guys, that really makes me ill. And I talked with one of my sons about it. My son's a driller. And we discussed that. And he kind of explained it to me, how he felt about it. And I've always kind of felt that way, but the way he put it was exactly right. And that's part of the reason I came on this tea tonight, because I wanted to discuss exactly that issue.
I did have one question on when Brenner was doing his spring cleaning. Was that around the same time that everything magically reappeared in Dylan's trailer? Or was that separate?
When that happened, when the key fob and gun was put back in the trailer, is when Kurt called Justin and Candace and told them that Dylan was being held at Yvette Avilas's house, who was Robert's mom. And here's one of the things that really bothers me. One of the things why I say I believe Kurt may know more than he knows. He's known Yvette for 20 plus years, and he knows that there's not really a violent bone in her body, that she would never allow somebody to hold a child at her house like that. Her son, nobody. And he knows that. And for him to tell the parents that, and then the key fob being put back and the gun being put back. Jim, do you remember the argument with Salty?
Yeah.
He said, he said it was Jim Brenner. And there's not a doubt in my mind that it was Jim Brenner that called Kurt, and Kurt called the parents. And that's part of the reason his ass is so squeamish about the whole thing.
Yep.
And there's not a doubt in my mind that Brenner put it back, the key fob and the gun.
So the gun that came back, was that Dylan's or was that Brenner's that was found in the trailer? Chad's
Dylan's
asking.
gun. Dylan's pistol, from what I understand.
It was Dylan's. So it's Brenner's
From
silver
what I
one
understand, yeah.
that's still missing.
The one that I'm questioning is the chrome one he pointed at Robert Avilas way earlier that I think in the months prior to that. I don't know the exact time. But it had something to do with Robert wanting to date Becky and Jim not liking it. And Weezer, our postmaster, saw him do that, saw Brenner do that. So she's a credible witness. She doesn't do drugs. She may like to drink beer here and there, but Weezer's a nice lady. She wouldn't have any bone to fry about it on nobody. And she was one of the people that Salty was pointing his finger at, her and her husband. Just recently, a few days ago. She's the postmaster. Really angry that he did that with those people. They're friends of mine, and I don't like it. They're good people. And Jim, there is a lot of good people there, but evidently, like you said, there's a lot of sex offenders. The Wade Shoot coming back.
Yeah, not my type of place. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't have my kids there anymore at all.
Yeah. Especially when you're
ones.
already like, I can only think of as like a parent that already, like, Tennessee Gambler brought up a great point. He's trying to look at what colleges, and like a lot of times when parents, like kids are going to college and doing all of those things, they look deep into what colleges, the atmosphere, where they're going to be staying, like their routes, this is just kind of leaving him out there.
And Miss T, you can research a college as much as you want. You can research the schools as much as you want and everything. The University of Utah, for example, is a really good, clean school. We had a football player that was shot up there. I think we've had a lady that was raped and murdered or something like that off of the campus. I'm not exactly sure. And then we had a football player that went home to Texas or somewhere and accidentally shot himself. So you can research the school and everything. You just got to educate your kids on what to look out for.
Exactly.
You can't send them blind. You have to talk to them and tell them everything. You have to expose them nowadays to the planet. And as sad as that sounds, that's the only way you can raise them, with them even having a chance out there. You think I hide things? I don't hide anything from my grandson. And I tell him everything that he needs to know just for that reason.
Yeah.
I posted the safest schools in the chat, a link. I just looked it up real quick.
What are they? I can probably guess. I bet you I could fucking guess.
You know, because everybody's like
Liberty, and Oral Roberts. I'll bet are near the
everybody
top.
was making jokes about Idaho, and actually, you know, maybe not jokes, but they were mentioning it. And the safest school is BYU, Idaho. It's number one.
Yeah, I believe that.
Where is this list? I don't see a list in the chat. Where is
number 2? Oakland University, and you wouldn't think that would fit. Hold on, I'm going to post it again.
Oakland University in what state, though? There's more than one Oakland. Is it in Illinois?
Oakland University in...
That might be in Virginia or so. There's other Oaklands, because I saw an Oakland playing basketball. It was like in Michigan.
I don't know. This certainly doesn't look like Oakland. Oakland County. It's in Michigan.
Yeah, just like I fucking said, asshole.
Northern Kentucky University, number 3.
Northern Kentucky. Northern Kentucky.
These are rural. These are really rural colleges.
These are
Rhode Island.
But let's be honest, these are extremely white institutions.
Yeah.
Like
I bet you the big ones out of the big schools, it's probably Liberty and Oral Roberts are probably two.
Let me see if where they're a lot in Massachusetts, Bridgewater.
Those are all high academic schools, little Division III. That's where John C.
Polytech, Cal State University, Southern Illinois, Purdue, Utah State.
Look at the most violent campuses, the most crime-ridden campuses. I bet you most of them are black colleges like I went to. Savannah State, fucking, you know what I mean? That shit.
Let me look it up. I mean, crime or University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, number 1.
Yeah, probably because of the size. You know what I mean?
Main
no,
university.
The place, Jim. It's the place. Most of your inner cities like Philly and Baltimore, gee, many Christmas.
University of
And
Washington.
these assholes want to abolish the police. What a bunch of motards. And I'll honestly say that really angers me. The anti-cop sentiment in this country today really angers me. Now, do I love all cops and everything? Have I had my problems with them? Yeah, but try living without them. See how that goes.
So, Jim, this ranking here is by number of students and how many crimes have happened since 2013. So, in the last 10 years. So, here's an example: 26,200 student, 903 crimes. University of New Mexico main campus is number 1.
Okay.
Michigan State number 2, but there's 50,000 kids. There's double. University of Utah number 3, 32,000. Cal Berkeley 4, Stanford 5. UCLA, Portland. I mean, they're all big schools. University of Iowa, Penn, Texas A&M, where Watch Your Crazies at.
And these were the ones that had the most crime?
Yeah, so the total number of offenses since 2013, and then the total number of students. So University of New Mexico actually stayed right next to that campus.
That's
seem like
that's
a bad area.
a smaller school too.
Yeah.
Is that in Albuquerque?
Yeah, it's in Albuquerque. Yep, right by that creep hotel that's in Breaking Bad, where that prostitute character is at. It's like literally next to it.
Now,
The
Dana,
Utah one. They had a lot of weird shit happen over the
Dana
last few
Cole
years
has
there.
a good point, and this is where I feel most secure. My daughter goes to a school that's constantly on lockdown, but they know the drills, they educate, and they teach you, right? I would trust the most dangerous schools ranked over middle of nowhere farm. I agree with that, because my daughter at 12, she already knows what to do, where to go, how to do it if an active shooter or a threat came in.
Where does her kid go to school?
It's off Martin Luther King.
No, I'm talking about Dana Nicole.
I'm just
San
saying from my
Bernardino
experience.
State University.
What's that, Mr. X?
San Bernardino State University.
Yeah, I'd like to know where Dana Nicole. I don't think that's the same Dana that's gay. That's coming up. Is it?
Tennessee Gambler agrees.
Wait a minute. Dana that comes on our show has a kid? She's a daughter?
No, she's just saying she would trust.
Oh, yeah. She might. Okay.
Let
me put it. I'm looking up, and sexual assaults, there was 1,219 of them at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor last year.
So that's up there in all of them, Jim, just because of what it is.
And there's 50,000 students there?
And in Cincinnati.
That means 2%. 2% were sexually assaulted.
University of Cincinnati had 20. And that's a little smaller. I'm looking, there's nothing that's even close to that. I don't know.
Cincinnati's a bad area too, that school.
Let me see. Yeah, there's nothing even, wait, is that right? Yeah. God, it should be called Rape You. That is crazy.
You know, one of the stats that really shocked me is how many people go missing in the United States each year.
Yep.
600,000. I was shocked when I read that. Over 500,000 people a year.
Jim one time went missing when we were in Vegas. Found out he was in the Luxor sports book. Lost him for a couple hours.
The Hangover, huh?
Yeah.
No joke. I was lost at 5 in the Tacoma, Seattle mall.
Doing what? Fun. Creep.
So I'm looking at the statistics, and here are the statistics: arson, motor vehicle theft, burglary, aggravated assault, robbery, incest, fondling, the R word, and murder. Only one school college campus reported a crime of incest. Anybody want to guess where that is?
Arkansas.
University of Washington, Seattle campus. I wonder who that was. Hey, whoa. You can't bang your sister in this dorm. Get out of here. Holy shit, but I didn't know it was my sister.
Sounds like the next JTT episode right there.
I didn't know it was my sister when I was finger popping her at that kegger. My mom came in to visit. One thing led to another. My dad was so excited about the hockey game, he blew me.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Ty, you're always welcome up on panel. I have got to go to bed. I've got to get to work in
Me
like
too.
6 hours, y'all.
Okay, you guys just
We're
leave. We'll
gonna-
take over from here.
Yeah, we got
We
it.
got to get
Thank
up. I got to wake Phyllis up so we can pack, and then we got to go back to bed.
Yeah.
Make it to Salt Lake in the morning, and we're going to head south from there after her appointment.
What's her appointment
So
for?
Her eye is tomorrow.
What are they going to do to it?
I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but she's had cataracts and glaucoma on top of everything else, Jim. So yeah, she's going blind too.
You know what's crazy? And this is like the gift of the Magi, and then I'll let you go. Just as you get good looking, she goes blind. This is fucked up.
You're actually funny sometimes.
All right,
Good
listen,
night, you guys.
I'm going to look for this incest
Thank
victim
you.
over University of Seattle campus.
And before I go, thank you, Ty. Thank you so much. Just wanted to touch base on Kristen P gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. And she also gave me a $5 super sticker. Jen Thompson became a new member. And then we've also got Nobody69 super sticker for $1.99. And Stella in for a $10 super sticker with Jack's approval.
Can I ask you one question about the VIP and the gifting? If you gift a membership, like let's say I gift 5 memberships right now, they go to random people. Am I on the hook for them every month, or is it just for the first month?
Just for the first month, and then it's their option to renew it.
Okay. So you're not on the hook for them for a year. Gotcha.
I tell you what, I think Ty, because I've been watching the chat, I think he had more haters than Jim tonight. He had a lot of haters in here tonight. Did you see that?
Yeah.
What did he do?
He told the truth.
Yeah.
All right, I'm out of here. Mr. X, call me.
I'm out here too. By the way, I got a Cash App.
Hello? Am I still
And then
here?
there was one, Squeakers.
It's just me and the squeakers. So, Miss T, what are you going to do? When is this whole ghost hunting thing with Tennessee Gambler? And here's what's going to happen. Betty Hayward will never show because she doesn't leave the house.
She'll go.
You think?
I'll get her to go.
You have to probably go pick her up, and then there'll be all kind of issues, and
We'll make it work.
it's
Tennessee
her
Gambler will be coming back with answers,
and
we
Hickey.
will make it happen.
We'll be coming back with Hickeys and an STD. Who else is go? Watcher of Crazy, she'll show up.
Watcher of Crazy, Arkansas, she's welcome. Betty Hayward, Tennessee Gambler, he'll be guiding us, protecting us. You, if you want to hide behind one of us girls.
Yeah, Tennessee Gambler needs to protect me. I would want to bring Michelle, and then if some kicked off, I could ride away on her fucking little scooter.
I just envisioned that. You know, one night I had a really night, and I took one, and we did a wheelie and tipped over.
You had a dream about Michelle?
No, I actually took a motorized and did a wheelie and tipped it.
I had a dream about Michelle one time that I was at a barbecue and everybody was eating the barbecue and they're like, this is the best fucking barbecue I've ever had in my life. And I said, where's Michelle? And they said, oh, who do you think you're eating?
He's got jokes. He's got jokes. Well, Jack is getting mad. It is my bedtime. Thank you so much for everybody showing up tonight. I will see you on the next live. Have a great night. It's not a live with Miss T without Jack getting mouthy. And I will be looking at getting an update on Michelle soon. Much love and peace, y'all. Have a good night. Don't forget to smile or be somebody's smile. Be blessed.
stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Same us for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping.
I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
I'm always flirting with pain, she like to hurt me and maim. I'm always working to change, but she's still lurking the same. I keep on building a dynasty while the haters be trying me. But they hate from inside, you see, hate themselves in society. So I let them speak quietly while my actions speak wider. See, they be hiding in privacy with the screen. Oh, the irony to hate someone who's trying to be whatever they would like to be. We all feel the anxiety, we make our own rivalries. Yo, so where is all the positivity? I feel like we all just hate on everything, it's killing me. Thoughts build quick, causing different possibilities. Negative thoughts will cause different disabilities. So do better, work hard under pressure. If you got no time, work smarter than ever. Don't ever let them tell you that you can't ever say never. And turn your mind into the truest of go-getters.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always on.